I am just dumbfounded right now. I learned something today by L. Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101, the podcast that we made up and gamer score doesn't matter.
Nice.
I am your host. You may call me Corey. And with me, I have three co-hosts of varying genders and species. First, we have Big L.
Are you assuming my species? And if so, you'd be probably right, whatever you're...
Well, originally I was thinking panda, because Jeffy came to mind. But
nobody should be thinking of
that
Jeffy.
doesn't really relate to you.
No, I'm entertaining.
He left when I said there's no bamboo tray.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You doing good, El?
I'm a good part of the show.
And Koosh, we have Koosh here. He threw me off with that statement. I was not prepared for him to say that.
What?
I mean,
I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
You're a good enough part of the show.
And I'm a good enough part of the show. Hey, how you doing, Corey?
I'm doing fine. I need a haircut really bad, but I wasn't
gonna out you, but yeah.
Next week when the cameras are on, hopefully I'll have less hair that you can tell.
Oh.
And if you haven't recognized that laugh, we also have Michelle here. Hello, Michelle.
Hey, Corey. Thanks for inviting me back.
That's right, Kenny. Oh yeah, we are glad to have you.
I followed
if you remember Kenny. What's that?
I was just going to say I followed the Elroy model of being on a side segment last week and got myself promoted to full panel. So keep an ear out, I guess, for whoever's coming on later, right? They might show up next week.
That's right.
That's right.
That is a better than 0% chance of whoever that is.
But you were starting to say about Kenny?
So yeah. What was I going to say about Kenny?
Who?
Probably, if you recall, Kenny taking a small sabbatical for his upcoming baby. That's right. He still doesn't have a baby, but by the time you hear this, he might. So definitely by next week, he will have it. So we will be thinking about him. And good luck to him and his wife as they welcome a baby boy here soon. We'll have a new milestone next week for that. Don't forget that life event.
I mean, I don't think I've read a gamer milestone for him in a year, so this is a good one.
Well, yeah, this is the only way he can get on Brad camps.
Exactly, correct. That's the joke.
That's the joke. What's not a joke is our game showcase.
Keep scaring me.
That's the part of the show where we showcase a couple games that have been in our recent catalogs. And we're going to start with Nate this week. He's going to tell us about a Vayner. We're going to start with a Vayner and end with a Vayner. And take it away, Nate. What have you been playing?
Yes. So I played a game that only 74 other people on this green earth have played. No. It was called Green G.R.E.E.N. The Life Algorithm with a 1 in there as an I, so you know this is quality. This is super serious. It's a Vayner, and you have a gun, and your gun basically dehydrates things that you shoot. So, and your father made it and gave it to you because he's a genius. So you are running around dehydrating plants on this planet, and you're just basically trying to find your father. Now, the game takes place, I think, across, I'm going to say 3, maybe 4 levels. They're not that drastically different. The controls are a little bit sloppy. They're not what you would want from a precision platformer. Not that this is one, but I want them to be a little bit tighter.
That's what she said.
I wish I could say this game was good.
The worst feeling.
I'm sorry. This game is not great. I'll put it that way. And it's a little bit buggy. There's 2 bosses as far as I can tell. 2 boss fights. There might be a third. The first boss fight is this giant worm. I beat the worm and don't isolate that. And then I got to the next area. And
what did you do?
And then the achievement popped after I got to the next level, and I was like, oh, was that not the boss? I don't understand. The achievement popped way late, followed by another achievement. I should, at that point, have said, okay, maybe I need to think about this next area. I then paused the game, turned the game off, came back the next night, got through the second area where there's a boss. That achievement didn't pop. I did not freak out. I was like, oh, okay, this is just like the first boss. I then got the achievement for getting to the next area, which should come after killing the second boss, and it never popped. So I know at one point in time there were save issues with this game, and they released a patch. And it seems like after the patch, maybe they broke this achievement for beating this boss. The problem is only 78 people have played this game, so I can't tell if you can get it or not. I'm about 3 achievements from the end, but really only 2. And so I'm going to go back in and finish the game and see what happens. I'm afraid that you might have to do this game in one sitting. It could be the fact that you're turning the game off and you're coming back somehow just kind of messes things up. I don't know. So yeah, this might not be completable any longer.
Well, so I'm assuming it's the achievement for defeating Dr. Rainish.
Yes. Defeating Dr. Rainish.
As a bright side, somebody unlocked it in December, this past December.
Yeah.
So unless this patch came out more recent than that, which I highly doubt.
I doubt that. It's probably one of these things where you have to do it in one sitting, or you have to do it multiple times, and just kind of hope that you don't get the short end.
No.
Yeah, it is a 5 to 6 hour game. Has that hold true so far?
So far, yeah. But now that I know the first level and the second level, that first level should be super fast. The second level, I'm just not looking forward to the second level. There is a maze in it. And you kind of have to navigate this maze in the dark. And you have like a flashlight near you. So I just didn't like it. I just didn't like that part. And I'm not really looking forward to doing that part again. And I have to if I'm going to beat Dr. Rainish. So I would prefer to not have to do that.
No, not that I think this would narrow down any of your issues, but have you been playing this on the series, or have you been playing this on your one? Have you used Quick Resume at all? Yeah,
I've been playing this on my Series X, but mostly on my X1X.
I mean, with these graphics, I think I did play it better.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at this, and this looks like just bland.
Yeah, well, I had hopes for it.
Did you have hopes for it based on anything other than it's a Metroidvania?
Well, it has. Well, okay, so it slightly reminds me of. Oh gosh, what was that?
Outland?
No.
You're gonna need Corey to help you.
Garbage.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm looking it up.
All right,
Shadow
so we'll talk
Complex?
over while you're
those games
looking
are
it
good.
up.
Sorry.
They were good, but that doesn't mean a bad version of them can't exist.
Paradox
I just wonder,
Soul?
I wonder a little bit sometimes with the series, because there are some known issues where there are problems sometimes with the series version. And I know I've seen some things with Quick Resume where, Quick Resume is great, but it also makes me nervous because I'm not sure if it saved right or if it might lose something. I wonder if some of that might be part of what you're experiencing, but I don't know. I'm seriously in the habit now of generally quitting out every game I play instead of counting on Quick Resume, just in case.
I think I've mostly played this on the X1X, so I don't think it was a Quick Resume issue. And I think I may have tried it on the Series X, but that would have been after I ran into this problem. The game I was thinking was, of course, Sundered. Another...
Oh, totally.
Another Steam game, kind of like a PC Metroidvania. And it reminds me of it a little bit. Although Sundered is better looking, it also had some issues too. But I
can see the resemblance.
It does have a little bit of resemblance. And especially when I was starting it, I was kind of getting Sundered vibes. But I wasn't minding the game so much. I was starting to learn some of the quirkiness about the jumping and a little bit of the floatiness. And then I got to this Dr. Rainish thing, and I'm not happy now. So, everything else is tainted by Dr. Rainish. Way to go.
I mean, the achievement list looks very uninspired, right? Just a whole bunch of get through the story stuff that should automatically pop.
Yeah, I would say that none of these achievements are missable except for the one that won't pop.
Yeah, TA has them as all story achievements. I was kind of thinking that that's a positive.
Yes.
Because I don't even know if another Vayner where you just play it and you get all the achievements, most of that stuff, you have to do extra stuff, which is sometimes nice, but sometimes it's good to not worry about that.
Yeah. I was hoping for a little more, but...
How long did it take for you to get the game on your tag?
Let's see. Start a new game. So press start.
Okay, so it's... Didn't you speak about another game last week where it was a press start to get on your tag sort of game? So you're...
Yes, I did. Are you kidding me?
I
can't
game.
remember what I had for breakfast.
Tools up.
Tools up. Thank you.
Did you say moving out?
I don't know.
Oh, don't steal my thunder. Put that to the side for a second. So Green the Life algorithm is, I'm guessing because it has so few gamers tracked, I would assume most of those people are probably review copies and things like that. Because it has, on TA, currently as we're recording, it's worth 1,700 TA, which isn't super high. So it seems, I know you're experiencing a glitch issue, but it doesn't seem like a whole bunch of people just started it and completely ran from the game either. So there must be enough holding you into the gameplay.
Well, I mean, it wasn't that bad at first. If it wasn't for this Dr. Rainish thing, I would probably say don't play this unless you're a Metroidvania fan. Now I would be like, even if you are a Metroidvania fan, these are my points. These are not your points. You don't want these points. That's what I would say, basically. Now, my friends list has Neo 21, Carnage, and Bill Zuminati. Imagine that, all with one achievement.
I have a few more that have this game, and yeah, they all stopped at the first achievement as well, including Mental Night.
They're probably like, "Oh no, a press start."
I'm like dumbfounded by this game. First of all, I've said many times, a good title can help make or break a game. This title's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of this game again?
It's called Green the Life algorithm. It's great.
But don't forget that algorithm has a 0 and a 1 in the title, so
if you try to put it in the store, I don't even know. It's $6. No. You would think a game, even if it's terrible, for $6 would have more.
Well, I think it was a Kickstarter, and I know it was definitely on Steam, so you can find some stuff about it there.
You said, so for the estimation of 5 to 6 hours, that was based on 3 people.
Played it 2 or 3 times.
It was 3 people estimated at 5 to 6 hours. 2 people estimated at 4 to 5 hours. And 1 person estimated at 8 to 10 hours. So that's a lot of data to go by.
Yeah. Based on where I am, I'm pretty close to getting the next to last achievement, and I don't know what happens after that.
You have to restart the game and play it through.
There's not a whole lot of videos.
It'll be 8 to 10 hours.
There's not a whole lot of videos on YouTube.
I'm shocked. Yes, I see gameplay.
I've been tracking the price on it.
Oh, yeah?
I've been tracking the price on it since it came out. I will pick it up.
$6 is too much?
Again. $6 is, well, it's just like, I'm not going to play it now, then you might as well track it. And so I'll get it if it goes on sale, but it's been out over a year now, and I don't know if it's ever been on sale. So I'll pick it up in my lull of Metroidvania games, but I have way too many to play at this moment. But that's Green the Life algorithm. And so let's move on to a different type of game, a completely different type of game based off what I know about it. Michelle, you played Morkid recently. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I actually this was the surprise I had planned, is I needed to say one sentence about moving out, just to continue.
You too.
This is actually just Koosh made a point about this sort of thing, and I just wanted to read it really quickly. I'm playing the game on Win 10 now after finishing it on the Xbox, and the controls are so much floatier on my Surface. It's so frustrating, and I don't know why. So that's it. That's all I had to say about that game, just to continue the streak of that game being mentioned every week. So yes, let me talk a little bit about Morkid. So this is a Game Pass game. It's in the puzzle genre. If you've seen people playing this on your friends' feed on True Achievements, it's likely because they were involved in the GTASC, and there was a week, maybe 2 months ago, where people were challenged to finish the week with a ratio higher than a 4. And at that point, Morkid was worth 8,000 TA or so, and it's since dropped down a little bit to 6,000, but it's not as difficult as the ratio suggests. So in Morkrid, this is one of those games that's in a style of play like Brothers. If you're playing it solo, you have one character attached to the right thumbstick, one character attached to the left thumbstick, and the hook of the gameplay is light and shadows. So the characters have this ball of light that they're protecting, and they roll it around, and the idea is it casts light, and obviously because it casts light, it casts shadows. So if either of the characters touches shadows, including the shadows cast by the other character, you lose and have to start over. So it's an interesting gameplay mechanic in terms of that, and we've seen it before with Brothers. It was built for couch co-op, which unfortunately still not really able to do at this point. And there is a co-op achievement that... Yeah, there's a co-op achievement that if you read the solutions on TA, they're like, yeah, just use 2 controllers and do it by yourself, and that sounds not fun. So I'll wait to finish up the game when I'm able to play. But it's... Don't let the TA score fool you. The achievements in the game are inflated because it's a Game Pass game, and many of the achievements are get through this level without dying. The game has 7 worlds, and to get through each of those worlds without dying is difficult. But it's not difficult if you can just press pause, quit to the menu, and start the game at the checkpoint, and it doesn't count that as a death. So that's the way to get it done. And in doing this, you also get eventually the achievement for beating the game in under 120 minutes, which I definitely played it for longer than 2 hours, but because the game loads nice and quick into each retry, it's really easy to get through and cheese in terms of the achievements. It would be possible to do a no-death run. It would be possible to do it in under 120 minutes, but to combine the two, you would need to know the game well. But I liked this game. It's got middling reviews on TA and elsewhere, but for a Game Pass game, it's worth the price of admission, and if you do have someone to play it with, it could be a good time. I don't really know how well it works if you play it with somebody else, but I would recommend this if you're looking for a game to play that'll be 3 to 4 hours and get you some pretty high ratio stuff pretty easily.
So you said it's like Brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm watching a video, and you have one character on one side, and the other one's doing something else. And do you just control each of them with the thumbstick each?
Exactly. Each one's on one thumbstick. One thing that Morkrid does that Brothers doesn't do, though, is you can press A to swap which character is attached to which thumbstick, and that was really helpful because sometimes the perspective changes. So instead of going up to down, now you're moving, you're turning left, and so now you're going in that direction, and it was hard for my brain to always keep each character mapped where they were supposed to go. And you could just hit A and it switches which one's on which. And that was just a little bit of an adjustment to the Brothers gameplay mechanic that I thought was well implemented and made it a little easier to play.
Oh, this game reminds me of something and I just can't place it.
You know, in terms of aesthetic, it's got sort of like a Limbo aesthetic because it's black and white kind of deal, but it's not like Limbo at all.
I tell you what, It reminds me of Fogs, to be honest.
Oh.
A little bit.
I think you might be thinking Below.
I've never played Below, but like just Fogs in the general, the gameplay sense. Like each part of your controller is one of the 2 characters, essentially. You know, one of the 2 dogs in Fog's case, and I think it's more so one of the worlds in Fogs is specifically about shadows and light. And so I'm watching them push this ball around, and there's a very similar puzzles like that in Fogs. Yeah.
What I'm seeing is like dark areas and really far away perspective, and that reminds me of Below.
Yeah, the game is, in Morkrid, you're not always around the ball of light. There is a point in this story where you do lose it, and it uses other environmental effects to use light. So there are these slugs that come through that are lit up, and you walk by the slugs, and there might sometimes be little lanterns you pick up. So it's not all related to that, but generally if you find videos on it, because it's just from the beginning portion of the game, that's what you're going to see. So there's some variation in the gameplay. There are also these hidden murals you have to find, including one behind a waterfall. Nate? Right? Good stuff. So
nice.
It was, and that's how the achievements, there's one that's really easy to get for losing right away. And the rest of the achievements are these hidden murals. each level has a specific task you can do. So there's one level where there are these like feet on the ground, and when you walk by them, they lift up because the feet cast shadows. So you want them to lift up so you don't wind up in those shadows. And you have to tickle all the feet for one of the achievements. So each stage has a stage-specific achievement. So the list is a good list. The list is well designed, and I think that's one of the strengths of the game, actually. But you will need to play it twice, and you will need to play it once in co-op, so your mileage may vary.
And local co-op only, you said, right?
Local co-op only, but since even when you're playing in single player, you're controlling both characters just on one controller, you would just be holding two controllers instead of the one, because there's no other...
Okay, so you'd probably just go a little slower then.
Right, so you wouldn't mix if you were doing co-op on your own, you wouldn't mix that with your 120-minute run. But if you're taking your time, you can get through it on your own if you wanted to.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm watching the video, and two things about it. One, it looks like there are so many checkpoints in these levels. Mm-hmm. Like, they are not far apart. So that seems to be helpful. And the other one, it looks like they're popping pimples in some... I don't know where they are, but...
I actually...
looks like they're inside something.
I believe that's a level called The Meat. And there's an achievement for popping 50 pimples in the meat. And
there you go.
So the pimples are these... They rise out of the ground, and eventually they burst when they get large enough. But as they come out of the ground, you can't roll the ball over it. So you need one of your characters to be controlling the ball and the other one to be running around popping the pimples in front of it so it doesn't push the ball off the track. But
interesting.
You picked it up, so I guess that makes sense.
Maybe what I'm thinking of is in some of the Lara Croft games, there's definitely parts where you have to roll a ball like this onto switches.
You mean the isometric view ones, the Guardian of Light and Temple of Osiris? Yeah, there's a lot of
those ones.
Ball rolling puzzles, and yeah, you'll get that sense of that kind of mechanic, but you're controlling both characters, and they do individually affect the physics of the ball in the game. So you have to be mindful of which way it's frequently easier to have one character push the ball and have the other one just kind of running alongside it than to actually have both pushing it. But sometimes the momentum matters, so you need both characters to push it together.
So you would need some twitch skills to some degree?
Because there are so many checkpoints, as Corey noted, that's not really that big a deal. There are a couple of sections where the characters are split up and you might need to do something, but generally, if you're struggling with a checkpoint and you're going through it over and over again, you're overcomplicating it. I had that happen a couple times where I was trying to access a button, and the way I was going about it was just way above what the game wanted. It was just like, no, you only have to walk like 2 feet instead of 100. So you don't really need twitch skills. They could be helpful at points, but the checkpoints will help you with a lot of that.
All right. More grid looks interesting.
Especially for a Game Pass game, I would completely recommend checking it out if you're interested in sort of physics-based puzzle games, light and shadow kind of thing at all. A playthrough will take you, honestly, probably 3 to 4 hours at max. And you'll be able, if you want to follow a guide, you can, or you can do it naturally once and then play through the second time real easy. You want those no death achievement, again, really easy to make that work too.
All right. And that was More Cred, not Morked as I originally called it, on Game Pass. So, I'll go ahead and showcase my game. If you remember, I'm warboating, right? And
Patrick.
I put on my warboat list pretty much all Metroidvania games, and then a couple of games that had one achievement list and one physical game. And it pulled my physical game, and the idea behind it is, I just need to play these physical discs and get them off the physical shelf as well as my virtual shelf. And this game I've been wanting to play for a while, or at least try it out, because I know nothing about it other than the cover art. And the game I'm talking about is called Black Sad Under the Skin. It's a very peculiar name and peculiar looking game. You play as Detective Blacksad. He's a cat, and he wears a trench coat, and he's a detective. And you're trying to solve a murder. Well, you're trying to solve a death, because there's questions of suicide or murder, all that fun stuff. But the entire world, it's in America. They reference America, but the entire cast of people, even the extras that are walking around the streets, are animals. And so I'm talking with gorillas and cats and dogs and whatever else animals you could think of. I think there's even a raccoon, and he's like Weasley or something, something like a Weasley raccoon or something. He's taking pictures.
So that's why you bought this game.
I bought it because, again, the cover of just a cat in a trench coat. I had no other ideas about it. If you look on TA, it's a $50 game, $49.99, and it's worth 5,500 TA almost. There's just over 1,000 people have started. Only 4 people have completed it.
This cat smokes.
He does smoke. This is very 30s kind of feel. They're smoking in the hospital. My last achievement in the game that I've got, which is not very far in, is for buying cigarettes from the nurse in the hospital. Anyways, so this game, Black Sad, I got it on sale on digital. I've never seen it on sale physical, so I only spent $10 on it, which is another reason why I got it. But it's a Telltale-like game. Oh. You would probably not have expected this, and I didn't either at first. But you are solving a case, and you do that by talking to people and gathering clues. And being a cat comes into play because as you're talking to people in the conversations, you'll have, instead of responding as an option, one of the options will be to use your cat senses. So you could see stuff in the distance while you're talking, hear something going on, or smell something. Somebody was hiding somewhere, and I only knew that because my nose caught the scent of this other animal. So it just as an idea of how it works. But as you talk to people and as you find these things, and you're walking around looking for clues kind of deal, all of this gets written down in your journal, and then you have to take these clues and you have to make deductions based off of them. So you might have found a paint can on the floor, or you might have found paint footprints on the floor, and then outside in the garbage you found a empty paint can. So obviously those two are connected, and you got to figure out who did it. But it's a game like that. I would have never expected it to be like that. That said, it is very slow. The achievement, the completion time on TA, actually it doesn't look like it had it. I saw it at one point. It said like 40 to 50 hours. I have played just over 4 according to TA, and that's probably right. I have no idea how long the game is. It looks like through a walkthrough there may have been, 4 or 5 cases, and I'm still in the first one. That was walkthrough free for the most part. Just the very last bit I needed to get Warboats done, I kind of looked it up. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I think it's done better than a Telltale, although it's a bit buggy. I think that's where the low completion percentage goes and the high TA goes. It seems like, according to the forums and whatnot, a patch was released at some point and it made it completable. But there's a lot of collecting you have to do, and there are like alternate endings and stuff. So I think that you'd play through the game multiple times and things like that. So it could get old. I don't really know how they're going to change it the more I play, but 4 hours in, and Koosh showed up. I streamed this game. It's got a very, what would you call it? Like a jazzy soundtrack that definitely goes along with the time that it's set in.
Oh, yeah.
And the voice acting is top notch. It's really good. The only problem is it's just buggy, and it is so slow to load on my Xbox One X.
So I see the achievements. There are several achievements awarded for taking your first, second, third, fourth beating. Like, is your character just always getting in trouble, or is that? I see they're story related, so you can't miss them. But what's that all about? You
can't miss them. So like the first one, that's like one of the first achievements you get. Like, you're a detective, and this rhinoceros comes in, and you have a case against him where he's cheated on his wife, and he's like, why I oughta, and he pulls out his gun. He's like, you're like, no, don't shoot. You don't got to do that. We can handle this like men. And then you go into a fist fight. So there's actually combat in this game, but it's all quick time events.
Okay.
And even though you kind of win, you don't really lose the fight. You take your beating, I guess, and you get your achievement.
Yeah, I was getting the Wolf Among Us vibes from it, mostly because you're getting beat up.
Yeah, if I had to pick one Telltale game, it's probably the most like Wolf Among Us. Yeah, that probably is pretty good because you're a cop detective kind of thing in that as well.
I jumped into the stream a little bit when you streamed it last week, and I had that same vibe even from the little bit I watched. But like the one thing I took away from it was, well, I didn't expect that. Like, I don't know what I expected from a game called Black Sad. Do you have any sense why it's called Black Sad?
Well, that's your name.
Oh, that's just the name of
That's kind of all I got. Under the under the skin part, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. It's just it became more and more complex the more I got into it, and I think I'm past all of the tutorial bits. I've seen the collectible stuff. I've seen the cat senses and how you can deduct things. So I think I'm past all that. But yeah, man, this game is just way more complex than I thought. And I'm kind of like scrolling through the achievements now, and like there's one for not dying. There's one for not dying 9 times. I have not come across any point in the game where that is even an option. So I'm assuming maybe that's failing QuickTime events or something. Most of the TA, which is a lot, comes from doing all the collectibles and getting all the endings to the games.
I wonder how long a single play lasts, because it looks like one of the achievements is for 6 alternate endings. So
I have the answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Let me know.
You want to know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've been watching a video this whole time. This game looks awesome. I'm shocked.
Visually, I really love it. Yeah.
No,
The
I
aesthetic
definitely
is
get some
great.
LA Noire vibes as well, for sure. Not necessarily gameplay, but just the vibes. Yeah, I feel like this is just another game with a really bad name. It should be called
I think the name
Cop or something.
I think the price is a big thing too. Like $50
Yeah.
is a lot. You might get 50 hours worth of content if you do everything. I don't know, but it's a lot.
The video I'm looking at,
I think you could probably find the disc fairly cheap.
Video I'm looking at, it doesn't take achievements into consideration, of course, but it says a full playthrough is 7 hours. It's a 7-hour video. That's the full game. So I know nothing. I'm sure it doesn't take into consideration achievements or anything like that, but
So I see that
that's about what it looks like to me.
I see that the developer of the game developed one other game. That's the developer of Black Sad developed one other game on Xbox, and that's Yesterday Origins. Did any of you happen to play that one? I know I haven't.
I have not, but
that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I've heard that it was okay.
I just wonder.
When did you hear that?
It's hard enough for any game to sell at a $50 price point that isn't a Call of Duty or something that we already are very familiar with. And I wonder like what the logic is. Like you'd catch more people maybe with this game because it has a really good aesthetic. It's rated at like a 3.75 on TA, which is a good rating for kind of your not typical suspects. And I just wonder if it would have well more tracked gamers. It's tracked by about 1,100 people if they went with a $30 price point or a $20, or does a game that's named Black Sad by a developer we're not familiar with really not have a chance to break in if it's not on Game Pass?
I think I just figured it out.
Okay.
If you go to Amazon and look for Black Sad, there is like a collection of Black Sad books.
Oh.
Like this is based off of a well-known book series.
Well,
And they're probably banking on that.
Yeah, Michelle, how come you didn't know that?
Well, according to what I see here, it's a comic book, so I'm going to turn that back on you. I don't really know.
Yeah, Al, how
books
come
as
I didn't know that?
Yeah, it's a noir comic series created by Spanish authors Juan Diaz Canales and Juanjo Guarnido. But it was this comic was launched in November of 2000, so it's established. But yeah, that's very interesting. So we're all kind of learning on the fly here.
Wow.
Well,
I kind of want to read this comic.
I see here that there is kind of an achievement for a false start to the game. Kind of like Far Cry 3. Was it 3?
Oh, Is there?
The 4. I think it's Far Cry 4.
They all have it. At least 4 and 5 do.
Well, you can see how many Far Cry's I've played. So Far Cry 4 had like you could basically end the game in like the first minute.
Oh wow!
By choosing the wrong thing to do. This game has something similar, and actually, the game I'm playing right now has kind of another funny kind of false ending. So it's just kind of funny. But I see that you didn't get it. So are you?
Well, one, I didn't look at the achievement list.
Okay.
That's a good boy.
And I put it on Warboat, and Warboat gave me like the first 5 achievements. It actually worked out really good in terms of how much I have to play. I probably won't be hitting this up anytime soon.
See, I'm the type of gamer that when I load a level and I'm facing the right, I always go left.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes.
And the achievement that I'm talking about for this game is like the phone is ringing. So like you start the game and the phone rings. So my natural inclination is don't pick it up.
Yep.
Just
interact with everything
like,
else. Yeah.
There's an achievement for doing that. And I see that you are not that type of gamer, Corey.
Well, I didn't know. Now I
I know, but I wouldn't even know. But like, I would just sit there. I'd just sit there for a minute, and I would wait, and I'd see. I also like to see idle animations.
No,
I like to wait for the
I know
idle
what you're
animation.
talking about.
Yeah, to know exactly. Okay, no idle animation.
I feel like this
I definitely did it in Far Cry 5 because I knew Far Cry 4 had it, but I did not expect. I don't think about that when I hear that.
Okay.
I feel like this is the year where Corey's going to learn to treat these games with more patience. I feel like that rush to just get them done as quickly as possible is sort of abating a little bit, and you'll pick up some of these ways. You can't hang out with these guys for so long and not pick up a little bit of it.
One more quick news.
That said, that achievement for not doing anything is like a 2.5 ratio.
There just aren't enough olds playing these games.
I just noticed something funny. There's a TA article saying Blacksat accidentally releases early. Microids urges players to wait for a day 1 patch. So that's embarrassing. But there's a funny thing. The TA article says, "Oh, the cat's out of the bag." So I thought that was actually pretty clever. Yeah. Maybe under the skin refers to this lovely saying 2 ways to skin a cat. More than 1 way to skin a cat. Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe. Anyways, yeah, Black Sad, it's really unique. If any of that sounds interesting to you, a kind of Wolf Among Us vibe, but with animals. Well, I guess you're animals in Wolf Among Us, but looks better, in my opinion. And you like those kind of things, check out Black Sad. And like I said, physical, you'll probably find it way cheaper. I got it at GameStop for like $10. Don't pay $50 for it.
One more question.
Okay.
Do you see yourself going back to it now?
Probably not soon, unfortunately. It's a little slow for me. I can see like if you enjoyed these type of games, that's what you played all the time, you could do that. I can't even play Telltale Walking Dead without thinking that it's too slow. And I don't think that's really great for this type of game, especially one that you're following a story and you have to keep track of clues and whatnot. I will probably pick it up when it comes on some kind of contest, or I can't really imagine myself getting bored of what's out there to just pick it up and play. So I think it's probably going to sit there until something tells me to play it, unfortunately. But that just comes with my, my rushiness of not waiting. Something else I can wait on, though, is playing A Way Out with J Black, which I'm very sorry, J Black. We have not played that. Elle played it, though. Elle, can you tell us about A Way Out?
And when you play it with Jables, it's called
A Way Out.
There you go. You've learned something from me, Corey. I'm glad you've learned. Yeah, so speaking of waiting for a game to show up on a contest, well, first of all, I mentioned last week and the week before and the week before that a Chewie Championship chocolate challenge this month was to play games that shared co-op achievements. So Michelle and I decided to play games that are only playable in co-op. And Warboats, I believe we both got A Way Out. If you are unfamiliar with A Way Out, it is co-op only, and it is split screen. But even if you're playing online, it is split screen, which is cool because you can see what's happening to your partner at the same time. So you can see you could be having conversations with NPCs at the same time. all kinds of cool stuff. So you can play as either Vincent or Leo. Both have very different personalities. It's by the, speaking of brothers, I believe it's by the dude who made Brothers. This one has slightly more of a budget. This was a big EA title. Yeah, unfortunately, Michelle and I started it a couple of years ago at this point. Let's see. 2019, yeah. And I think even though you could play it online, we played it in couch co-op anyway. And just, we stopped playing it and we never got back to it, but finally we did. And of course, it was like less than an hour before we got all the achievements. So like, what were we waiting for? I don't know. This game is just very artsy. It's just fantastic. Great story, great personality, good graphics, just very clever. I can't
really
recommend
like
this game
that
enough.
You can see the other person's screen. To be honest, that you just don't see that ever.
No, you don't. It's the big hook of it, I would say, and it's on EA Play as part of Game Pass now. So there's really no reason to play this, especially if you're in our community. I know some people might be still looking to play it. Just ask. I'm sure someone's been waiting to play it. They might be a little shy. Just someone will play with you, and you'll have fun.
I think one of the fun elements of the game in some way is there are frequent moments where you have to choose to do things Leo's way or do things Vincent's way. Leo being more brash and, let's just knock this security guard out, and Vincent being a little more subtle, like, let's just wait for him to leave the elevator and slowly walk out to the right. And you can tell something about the gaming type of the person you're playing with because you can see which side they try to pick before you agree on which one you choose to go for. And it's almost a shame.
Kill them all.
It's almost a shame that the list doesn't encourage any kind of achievements that say do everything Leo's way, do everything Vincent's way, so you have that motivation to play both sides. And as is the case with Brothers, as will likely be the case with Hazelight Studios' upcoming game, It Takes Two. You don't have You don't have to finish the game to get all the achievements, which is a shame. But
it's funny you should say that.
Tell me why it's so funny.
I played this game with Matt. Matism because it is like a couples month. So he and I went and did some co-op stuff, and we played exactly one game, and that was this game. And all the achievements in this game are, well, most of them are for doing fun things that are kind of out of the way. They're not main storyline. None of them are main storyline, but as far as I can tell, everything else is just for funsies. It used to be when the game first came out that you had to play the game through twice. And
really?
They changed that.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
They patched that out. So now you can basically get everything without having to play through twice. Which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
I probably wouldn't want to play this game a second time, but and there are two endings too, depending on your choices at the very end. So,
yeah, I don't know. The OCD in me wants to always see everything that happens. So maybe we'll run through it again as the other character, or throw a YouTube on or something like that.
It's sort of the
you do have to take different actions based on your choices. So yeah, there probably is more content to see than what I saw.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful that the game pops achievements for both players so long as they own the game. Remember, one of the hooks of A Way Out is that it only requires one player to own it in order for two people to play it, but only the person who owns the game gets to get the achievements. That said, it's almost a shame in some ways that it doesn't have host-only pops, because that's the kind of thing that encourages you to go and look at it another angle, because we're so motivated by achievements instead of just enjoying what's really an incredibly solid game. Corey, did you... So you didn't play, right? Because you haven't started with Jables yet. And Koosh, you finished.
We've played a little bit.
Okay.
Few levels or something.
I don't know if you share this sentiment, Koosh. Elle, I think you do. That scene in the hospital, the way the camera moved and changed angles and bounced from one character, that was awesome. Just the cinematic presentation of the game in that particular stretch is one of just my favorite sequences in a game I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I like Hazelight, man. I cannot wait for It Takes Two.
Mm-hmm.
They just do interesting things.
They sure do. They pretty famously... Go ahead, Al.
Go ahead, I'll finish.
Well, I think they've been pretty upfront about the fact that there weren't really a lot of takers for Brothers. when they developed that game, and EA sort of was the one that gave them an opportunity to develop a way out, and it's good that they did, because it's really a great experience. I'm really looking forward to It Takes Two.
I was going to make 2 more points. One is that the walkthrough on TA is fantastic. You could just glance to see which chapter the achievement that you need is in. And if you miss it, no big deal. You can go back in chapter select and get it. That's kind of a catch-22 because, not that I'm allowed to tell people how to play or anything, but you can go into someone's game who's done all the chapters and go in and just get the achievements if that was all that motivate you and you weren't actually a fan of good games or video games at all. So yeah, go play A Way Out.
All right, you heard it here. Go play it. He told you to.
Or A Way Out.
Or A Way Out. All right. Moving on. In an attempt to speed things up and keep this on track, let's go through our last ones. Lickety split. Michelle, you played another puzzle game. Surprise, surprise.
I know, another puzzle game on Game Pass. So Wilmot's Warehouse, which I frequently call Wilmot's Warehouse because my speech is lazy, I guess. So I will probably use them interchangeably. Wilmot's Warehouse is a puzzle game where you are organizing items in a warehouse. It sounds like it would be terribly boring, but there's some really relaxing quality to it. You play as this 1x1 square named Wilmot, and as you proceed through the game, you get items that come into the warehouse, and your job is to organize them when you have breaks in between deliveries. And then at the end of every delivery phase, there's a phase, at the end of every stock phase, there's a delivery phase where you have to deliver those to the people asking for items. The game has over 200 items in it, and most of the achievements are for getting certain groupings of items. And because it's RNG, you won't be able to finish Wilmot's Warehouse in one playthrough. It will require multiple playthroughs. The first playthrough will take you 5 to 6 hours. It might take you less, but subsequent playthroughs will take you 2 to 3, as you're not going to be as concerned with really sorting everything in the warehouse neatly. You're just going to be keeping your eyes out for the items that you need. Insofar as the achievements, there are 32 in the game. 9 of them are story. You're going to get them just for going through. There's one achievement to buy a pair of overalls or dungarees in the shop. Completely unnecessary, but you're going to need that to get the achievement. And then the rest are for finding these groupings of items. And through your first playthrough, you're going to get a couple of them. One thing I would recommend, though, the game was out on Steam, so there are guides on Steam with the different groupings. Some of them are obvious. Find winter items. Okay, if you find a snowflake, you know it's a winter item. Some things, though, like find the 4 Galapagos finches. I don't know. So it was helpful to find something that already had a picture of what items count. Also, 4 things related to England. The little jar that looks like a jar of maybe paste didn't necessarily strike me as an England item, but it was. So definitely use those things. But I would recommend this very highly. It was a really good, play it for a half hour or so at the end of the day. If you have a sort of OCD brain about organizing things, it's going to scratch that itch. And the gameplay, once again, it's pretty short, very easy. You'll figure out better strategies, and as we're trying to make this quick, I won't go into all that, but certainly we can chat about that in Discord. But I highly recommend it, especially as a Game Pass game. Wilmot's Warehouse also has inflated ratios, so don't get scared by those. Just go in and enjoy the organization.
It also starts with a W, not that I'm just saying.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. I like letters.
Right, especially letters that are double U's for no...
Alliteration.
Oh, that's true. It is alliterative.
You know what else is alliterative? Mahjong Mobile.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Nicely done.
So, you know what? I'll just talk about the game I played then. Since happens to be the exact same game I played.
Does it relate?
Oh, why not?
Wow.
Coinkydink. So I played Mahjong Mobile, which I just learned was a game yesterday. Downloaded it on Android because there was a TA article or a tweet or something. I don't know. It just came to me. And it's Mahjong. And it's on your phone. So yeah. That's pretty much what it is. But I wanted to basically use this as a time. And also, it doesn't tie into any achievements you may have earned on the PC version. I was hoping to pop it open and just get that endorphin rush of just things just popping left and right, and that didn't happen. So instead, I had to ruin my eyesight because I am old. And I spent half an hour to an hour playing this game, and then I tried to look at the world around me, and I couldn't see anything for like another hour. So that's great. I need to play this on a tablet or something. But that's just, old people stuff. I wanted to use this also as a way to segue into, hey, if you like Microsoft casual games, you best get a move on. Because a lot of these things, pretty much all of them, all the old ones, are shutting down on April 5th, 2021. That's this year. That's this April. And that includes Microsoft Minesweeper, Microsoft Mahjong, Microsoft Minesweeper Win 8, Solitaire Collection, Sudoku JP, Treasure Hunt, Mahjong Win 8. Did I already say that one? There's a bunch of... Yeah, there's Windows Phone too. Sorry. Solitaire Collection Win 8, Jigsaw Win 8, and Sudoku Win 8. So there's a lot going down. They also didn't mention bingo, but that is going down as well in this article. So yeah, I'll be playing a lot of casual games, and it's fun. Some of that stuff is difficult. Some of that stuff is hard. I don't know of any Mahjong solvers because they would not be possible. So you are going to have to work for this one.
So wait, this
right.
Mahjong Mobile, is it a Microsoft casual game or is it something?
It is a Microsoft casual game, which is why I'm surprised you don't know.
Yeah.
Those.
But is this one shutting down too, or this is not? I just want to make
new.
sure that I'm completely clear.
No,
this is brand new.
This is not shutting
affected.
down. This is brand new.
Okay.
It's so the Mahjongs that are shutting down are the Windows Phone version and the Win 8 version. Most of the things that are shutting down in April are Win 8 versions.
Okay.
This is, for all intents and better purposes, the UWP version, right?
Yeah.
Like they just came with the Solitaire and the Ornaments. Now they've done Mahjong.
I was just thrown off by their changing in their naming structure. Every other one's been Microsoft Sudoku, Microsoft Minesweeper, Microsoft Mahjong. So this one's Mahjong Mobile.
It's called Mahjong by Microsoft. Parentheses
How
mobile.
dare they switch the...
Throw another monkey wrench in there if they change
It's
it
triple M.
Yeah, and the reason you just heard about it was because it's been out for a bit, but the achievement list has been embargoed, and I guess it finally came out, so that's why it just came out this week. Nobody has the, actually I'm looking now.
Yeah, there's
somebody's done, at least one daily challenge every day for months, so they're cheating. Dirty cheaters.
Hey, now. Wasn't me,
you?
but yeah.
Guys,
16 people have.
not ignoring things at all and looking to find this on my store while we continue.
So yeah, if you're looking to play another game on your phone for a year and be disappointed when you don't complete it, there you go. Mahjong by Microsoft. There we go.
Oh, and if you're playing bingo and you're trying to beat the deadline, make sure that you're playing the most advanced level that you can get to because you get the most XP. I had not played in a while, and I wasted a day doing that. In the very first level, France.
Bingo.
Oh, France.
Oh, I've been doing that too. I haven't played it in a month.
I was like, why is my XP not moving at all? And I was like, oh, wait a second. I'm in France.
France.
Now, Michelle mentioned something earlier when we were talking about a way out and how it's good when you have host-only achievements because then it forces you to play a game a second time in a different way. Elle, did you play any game that's kind of like that?
Wow. Your segues are on par with Kenny's.
That's not fair.
Oh, come on.
That's
and by
fair.
on par, I mean pretty bad. Well, I wanted to
bring it out then, but it was your game.
I was going to make a different segue saying, speaking of PSAs and experience, there was a quick announcement that Gears of War Ultimate Edition XP is back. So after that campaign, letter writing campaign that I started, I guess they listened, and Xbox One and Win 10 versions both have XP working again. So, Michelle, we need to get back to that, at least a little bit.
2024.
Add it to the list. Yes, the other co-op game that is made just for co-op is the excellent We Were Here series. We Were Here, the first one was A Games with Gold. We Were Here 2 and We Were Here Together are the sequels. Not confusing at all. We Were Here 2, Michelle and I played. It's the second game in the franchise. We didn't look at the list, but it looks to be so far structured the same exact way as the first one was, where you go through the game as one person and you get the achievements on that side, and then you have to go through a second time so you can get the corresponding achievements on the other side. And if you don't use a guide, what you're basically doing is talking through what you see, and the other person's talking through what they see, and you try to solve puzzles. by shouting out what symbols look like and trying not to giggle when they look phallic or something else. So,
does it include that walkie-talkie feature that the first game had?
It does. And in the first game, if you were in party chat would stop working. In the second game, it says that party chat's going to stop working, but it doesn't. It still works. So we did not use a guide, but we definitely did a little cheating in that we stayed in party chat, because even as it was, it took us a while to solve some of these things. So I couldn't imagine fiddling with the walkie-talkie at the same time. But we were contemplating having people in the party because a lot of our friends were like, oh, we want to be in party and hear you guys fight. And then we considered streaming it, but we didn't want people to give us hints or anything like that. So we kept it private, fought on our own. We got through the first 3 levels in maybe, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe. But it just feels good to talk it out, and eventually like something clicks and you're like, oh. Or realistically, Michelle figures out what to do and it's like, oh, okay, let's do this.
Right, and Elle still doesn't know what to do, but I had that light bulb moment of, oh, wait, this makes sense now.
I'm actually looking forward to getting back to this after we're done recording right now. I hope so. We're awake.
Oh, then we should get along then.
Get along and get along.
If we want to finish out the game showcase, like I said, I promised you we start with the Vayner, we end with the Vayner. I, quote-unquote, played Journey to the Savage Planet this week.
You're going
this
down.
Game, Journey to the Savage Planet, it is a Metroidvania, so it says, and a first-person shooter and platformer. Those are the genres on TA. And you go through the game. I can't tell you exactly what you do in the game because I quote-unquote played it. I didn't really play it. But one of the achievements was in a title update, and it's a play on... They do a lot of like play on words and punny stuff, but they have a game mode called not New Game Plus, but Old Game Minus. And so you have to play through Old Game Minus mode entirely in single player. You also have to do it entirely in co-op. And Skeptical Mario, he has been knocking out the Vayners this month, and Journey to the Savage Planet was on his list, and he just needed to do the co-op stuff. There's a few other co-op achievements along the way, including slapping each other and reviving. And I said, hey, if you are willing to drag my corpse along, then I'll be there for you and help you get that achievement.
Oh, so you did it to help
we
him.
Met up.
Oh, all right.
I did it to help him.
Totally. Okay.
And so the game has like 3 main areas, and there's 3 main bosses, go figure. And you just have to get through beating all of those bosses and then doing one other thing, which is like launching your ship. And then that's the game. That's the game done, the whole game. And he needed to do that, and it was kind of more beneficial to do it in one playthrough just to kind of get it done. One of the features of Old Game Minus mode is if you can save it and quit, that's fine. But if you die, if you lose all your lives, or when you beat the game, your save file is deleted. It's no more. You can't go back to it. And so you get 3 shared lives over the course of 2 people, with the ability to get up to 3 extra lives. I died twice, and I got a little nervous. So I did pick up an extra life or 2, but the game is still a very big mystery to me because I was resource farming as much as I could, which was not a lot. And Mario had done the speed run the day before, and he just knew exactly where to go. So he went, and playing in co-op doesn't change anything. Enemies aren't harder. You don't have to get more of anything. It's the same game. So he knew exactly what he needed to do, and he could do all of the bosses and whatnot himself. I never even saw the first 2 bosses, but I got the achievements for beating them, and that's pretty cool. The third boss, you have to both be in there, so I did go in there and help him with that, but we finished in like 2 hours and 35 minutes. Unfortunately, there's a speedrun achievement for beating the game in under 4 hours. Like I said, he did it the day before with like 15 minutes to spare. And somehow, in co-op, it went so much faster, 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I wasn't even that big of a help. So I'm guessing just the little bit of resource farming I did helped upgrade quicker. But I said unfortunately because at the very end of the game, I was the host, just in case, that needed to be a thing. The game paused. I'm talking at the very last screen. I wasn't even watching because I was looking at the computer because it was a cutscene. And he was like, "Oh, we disconnected. Did you get your achievement?" I said, "Yeah, I got the one for completing it, but the speedrun never popped." So I'm going to have to go through this game anyways, but I will have to go through the speedrun again as well. What I'm thinking about doing is you have to 100% it. So I'm going to learn the game, 100% it, and maybe I'll be the Mario in the next situation and help somebody with their co-op run at the same time as hopefully finishing quickly. The only thing that leads me to is a small hot take that I don't really like a lot of 3D Metroidvania games, and I would question that this one is a stretch.
What makes it a stretch?
For me, a Metroidvania at least has to have that interconnected world. You fly your spaceship to like other planets or other like solar systems or something. You can't all access it from one go that I know of. I could have missed a lot of the game, but from what we played, we had to travel to these like 3 main hubs. And yeah, you get upgrades and you can go back and do stuff, but I don't know. I think I just am really jaded by 2D Metroidvanias and being a purist in that sense, that this one just does not fit as much of the bill. So there you have it. 3D games don't belong in the Metroidvania genre to me.
Oh, that was my argument for a long time too. So
yeah, like I see why they said it, and I see why they do it, but like when I look at this and I look at Recore, they don't scream it. Even Arkham Asylum, and it's probably because I'm hating stacks right now, and I just ordered my 3rd Arkham Asylum stack, and I don't really want to play it again. I already have to clean up the other ones, get all those dang Riddler trophies, and then get good at the combat. But at least that one has like a map. In Journey to the Savage Planet, there's no map. You have one of those horizontal compass bars at the top that tells you which direction you're facing, and if your objective is to your left or to your right or in front of you. But that's it. So I mean that's my other reason is there's not even a map for you to look at.
Sounds like a lot of strikes against it.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's a very weird game. I'm looking forward to actually experiencing it, but there's my experience so far and the co-opness that can happen.
So you were just
very, very funny game.
striking while the iron was hot.
Yeah, I'm just helping out community members.
Oh, totally. Because from everything I've heard,
got his completion. So
from everything I've heard, this game is hilarious.
Yeah, it's just they make fun of stuff. They have DLC. I bought it. It was on sale last week for a couple of dollars off. Called Hot Garbage, and like the area that you explore is called DLC 1. I don't know what it means, but it probably means something funny. But yeah, it's just a very weird game. These very weird aliens that you're looking at, and there's this one creature that's like eyeballs with feet and a mouth. It's really creepy. I don't know.
Do you have a partner in mind? Do you have in mind to play the game hopefully with?
Whoever needs it. Whoever needs it at the time. Like I said, I kind of want 100% at first because...
Are you going to play it by yourself?
Even playing the whole game with him, I have no idea what I was doing. And so there's a lot to learn in the game. It is on Game Pass. I'm a little afraid that it could leave soon. I don't recall when it was added, but it is published by 505 Games. And as Koosh knows, we've been cranking out Indivisible because it leaves in a few days, and there's 2 stacks of it. And so, yeah, I don't trust 505 Games and their games staying in Game Pass. So,
all right. Well, if it means anything, it came to Game Pass April 9th. So if you think it's going to be a year,
very hit and miss. I'm looking like Bloodstain's in there, and Bloodstain's been in there for a while. No Man's Sky, that's still in there. I don't know. But 505 Games is pretty big, but you never know. I might as well finish it. The thing is, whenever I start and go back to it, it's definitely a game that I think I need to stick with and just beat it. Because, especially with the speedrun achievement, It's just going to benefit me to know the game. I'm just going to have to learn it twice otherwise. So yeah, that was Journey to the Savage Planet. If you're looking for a co-op game, that might be a good one to do. All right, so let's go on to our news stories. We have a couple news stories that happened this past week. Well, one happened, and then it didn't happen. And so I just want to mention it and see what these guys think about it. Xbox Live price debacle. So if you've been paying attention at all, last week, right after recording pretty much, Xbox put out a statement saying that the price of gold was going to increase. And so basically it was going to double. They already have stopped selling 12-month cards in stores or in online stores, places. You can get them in stores, I think, but you could essentially get a year for $60, right? Well, the new price was going to be $60 for 6 months, and so we're doubling our pricing at that point. And man, did the internet blow up! They did not like that, and so immediately the next day, they put out a reversal statement. They said that they messed up, and as a result, they decided not to change the pricing. They turned that moment into an opportunity. So whether that was clever marketing, say, hey, we are consumer friendly, we are going to do what you want, who knows? But they did that. One thing that did come out of it, though, I saw it as an argument, and I don't know if it came out of all of the blow up from the quote unquote fans, but it's one that I think needed to happen anyways, and that is free to play games. In the past, if you wanted to play Fortnite, you wanted to play Apex Legends, you had to have Xbox Live Gold. Whenever this is done, I don't think they gave a date. It's going to be as soon as possible in the coming months, but eventually you will no longer need a gold subscription to play free to play games. Probably doesn't really affect a lot of us. I don't really see anybody in the community who doesn't have gold, so, but if you're double boxing, and you don't have like a home console for your all, I don't know, there's probably some really obscure situation where that could benefit you going forward, but they went back on that, and now it's back to what it was, $60 for a 12-month code when and if you can find it. So not that it really makes a lot of difference, but I'm just going to ask you guys your opinions. If this change had not been reversed, I think I already know the answers, by the way, would you be fine paying the increased fees? Or do you think something should change with the Xbox Live services, features or pricing as it is now? I'll start with Koosh. What do you think, Koosh?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen a price increase, and we have gotten a ton of additional features. Game Pass Ultimate, they've gave us the ability to upgrade to that for like $1 or something ridiculous. So I kind of understand the need for prices to go up. Netflix just did it recently. So yeah, I don't like it. I would like for the price to go down, ideally, but that's not going to happen. So if prices have to go up, okay, yeah. I mean, this is a thing I do, so I'm going to pay it if it goes up. I'm not going to boycott and vote with my wallet. Unfortunately, I'm going to wuss out and just pay the money. But another funny thing. Jez Corden mentioned this. Corden, I think that's his last name. On Xbox 2 podcast, other things like that. Windows Central guy. He just tweeted. He's like, imagine raising prices, doubling prices on game or gold, and then the very next day having your earning call come out saying that you earned a ton of money because of gaming is doing so well. And then it's a really bad look to double the price of your service the very next day when you've just raked in $43.1 billion in the last year. So,
yeah, I definitely think they were going with we're going to raise gold. I think it was like $5 difference from Game Pass Ultimate. So people were going to be like, might as well get Game Pass Ultimate.
Might as well, yep.
So, I don't know. I think that could have been a little related. I don't know. What do you think, El?
How much is the cost of PlayStation multiplayer games?
I wish I could tell you. I think you do have to pay for that service, right? I think it's $60
Isn't it free?
A year.
No, there isn't a paywall on being able to play a multiplayer game on PlayStation.
Okay.
That's Final Fantasy XIV, one of the big reasons, I think the big reason it never hit Xbox, is because effectively their user base would have to pay twice. They would have to pay Final Fantasy XIV's fee, and they would have to pay Xbox's monthly login fee. It does exist on PlayStation because they don't have that secondary fee for multiplayer.
But PlayStation Network is also kind of garbage compared to Xbox. And if you look at Nintendo and you look at Sony and you look at their online, their connectivity and all that stuff, there's a reason you're paying for Microsoft stuff.
Right. Well, I can't speak to playing PlayStation. But my point is that PlayStation's free. Nintendo is $20 for the year, which comes with cool emulators. $60 a year for Xbox is fair, and you're getting free games every month for anyone who downloads the games with gold. And I don't know. I would say there's still wonkiness with party chat sometimes and things, but overall, yeah, like you said, it's a pretty good service. But does this really affect us?
Something. It looks like PlayStation has a comparable $60 for 12 months when you get PSN Plus.
Yeah.
But I had seen some kind of statistic a little bit earlier today saying that Xbox Live has 80 to 90 million unique users, active users, but only 18 million Game Pass subscribers. So there's definitely an area for improvement to merge those two user sets. But anyways, do you have any thoughts on this price hike, Michelle?
Well, I'm of a mind that, I think like Koosh alluded to, we haven't seen a price hike. I mean, Xbox Live launched in 2005, and I know I've had my Xbox since 2007, and I've been paying the same amount, obviously a little more now because I'm Game Pass Ultimate. What else have you engaged with in the last 15 years that hasn't had a price hike? And it reminds me very similar to the response people had when there was news of AAA games coming out at $70 instead of $60. Like, I very distinctly remember buying Final Fantasy VII for $50 in 1997. Like, what other forms of entertainment media have stayed basically price level throughout the years, including a brand new console launch where if you get the Series S, you're actually paying significantly less than you're paying for a new console. Now, I don't think they went about it the right way. Like, dropping a 50% price hike, that's not the way to do it, right? Like, I know here we talk about subway fares and stuff like that. Eventually they're going to raise it $1, but they're not going to raise it $1 all at once. They're going to raise it, 50 cents in the next 4 months, and then they'll raise it another 25 cents. And yes, there is some question with this earnings call that was this week. Microsoft made big gains on Xbox and on Surface products and on cloud products. And I think the move is mostly motivated by trying to get more people to Game Pass. That's the end game. They want people to be Game Pass subscribers. And so if we're making the value of gold not significant, you're going to just jump up to this other plan. But I'm not offended by the fact that they wanted to raise the price at all like some people are. I think that it's a service that's remained price stable for a long time. And I think, too, we all know you almost never have to pay full price. There are plenty of ways to get gold for less. You can do Microsoft rewards. You can do Game Pass rewards and pay basically nothing because you're always redeeming. So paying full price is a choice you make for the most part because there's so many ways to not pay that. So I'm not against them raising the price if they feel like that's something to do, but they approached it wrong. I think we're very fortunate as gamers where we've pretty much been paying the same amount of money into our hobby all along, because other hobbies definitely have not remained. Like, if you're someone who used to watch movies once a week, you're not paying now what you paid 20 years ago to go watch a movie. But, I'm sure they'll reconsider this, and eventually a price hike or a sunsetting of Xbox Live Gold will happen, and your option is going to be Game Pass Ultimate, but I don't think that would happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I think we'd be a little bit of ways from that. In the original statement they put out, they said that Xbox Live is 18 years old, and Xbox Live Gold has not changed for years in some markets. In some markets, it had been 10 years since anything has changed. So, and I think the last change, I think it used to be $50 for a year, like long time ago, and then they went up $10, and now just doubling it was just kind of, crazy talk. But like we said, that never happened. So you can forget all about it now.
Well, and it winds up being good PR for them, right? Because the internet went nuts, and they said, "Listen, we get it, we hear you, loud and clear." I mean, it's Microsoft. It's not a struggling mom and pop shop that's going to be worried about how they're going to deliver your games tomorrow. They'll be okay not getting double the price. But it's good PR to release a statement like that within 24 hours that said, "Okay, we get it. Wrong move. We'll move on to the next chapter."
Right. Speaking of moving on to the next chapter, this one game next chapter is Closure, and that game would be Gears Pop. And so, if you haven't been in the Discord at all, because it was a little bit of a hot topic, Gears Pop put out a tweet. They have not tweeted in 2 months, and normally they reserve that for advertisement things about the game or server maintenance. It has been at least 2 months since they said anything, and then they all out of the blue they said, "We hear you, and we're thinking about achievements related to Gears Pop, and we're gonna let you know something about them soon." And so, what does that mean? And so now we enter speculation station, and we can speculate all we want on what that means. Does it mean changing achievements? Does it mean free in-game microtransactions that you can't buy anymore? Does it mean that you're just out of luck, and that maybe they say gold's a little easier to get by 20 points? I don't know. What do you guys think or hope that they do with Gears Pops in related to achievements? And I'm going to start with you, Michelle, because you, out of my friends list, has the most TA in this game.
So I'm in the situation that a lot of the folks in the Discord are in, I believe. I'm missing, I think, 2 achievements in Gears Pop, and those are the achievements for upgrading 1 pin to its max level and for hitting level 20 for your character. I have not put as much time into the game as many of the folks in the Discord have, and I know how far away I am from it, and they know how far away they are from it. Most people will say, like, maybe I can get a pin to level 20, and pins are the troops in the game. If you go back to the podcasts from like October of 2019, there was a lot of discussion about Gears Pop on multiple episodes of the show, and we discussed it at length there. So, forgive me if I miss a detail that you don't know if you're listening to this, but you get those pins and you have to spend coins on them to upgrade them. The trick with that, though, is the pins are RNG. And you have to get thousands and thousands of copies of them. So you might have the coins to do it, which is a ridiculous amount in and of itself, but you may never earn enough pins. In order to level up your main character, you need to level up a whole bunch of these pins. What I'm hoping they'll do is they'll, sort of reconfigure the balance. Typically, if you do a horde in the game, you win like 400 coins or 1,000 coins. Allowing players to have more coins will allow them to have the capital in the game, the resources in the game, to hit those upgrades. So increasing the amount of coins and the amount of pins so people have a chance is probably where they're going to go. I hope they don't do something like revert it to super easy achievements. I know there are people who would like that and jump in and they get what they get, but there are plenty of people who've put hours and hours and hours into Gears Pop. And for them, I hope they don't reverse course too sharply and go, well, you got to pin up to half of its max level, good for you. Or you got your character up to level 10, excellent. This will be good to bring people in now who might want to rush to the completion, but they're not going to help the game at all. They can't spend real money. So the way that seems most fair is just increasing the amount of resources you get for playing. But I don't know what their plan would be, obviously.
Right. Yeah. And at this point, they aren't making any money. They can't make any money.
Right.
They can't spend any money on the game.
Right. It's all deactivated. It's not an option.
Koosh. Yeah. Koosh, where are you at in this game? Where do you want them to take it for the last 2-3 months?
I hope that they reverse course sharply and make it super easy to get these difficult achievements and infuriate a lot of people that put hundreds and hundreds of hours into the game.
And hundreds of dollars.
I don't really feel that way, but I just think it's funny to counterpoint. I have 4 achievements left to get in the game. The ones I haven't gotten one of the ones that is gettable is blocking the other one that I could get. And I've done everything for it except for get to Gold League, and now it's like really hard to get to Gold League, and I haven't played in forever, so it's even harder because I haven't been trying. And then there's the last two, which are like, hey, you haven't been doing anything, and you haven't spent a ridiculous amount of money, so yeah, you're not going to get these. All I know is that whatever they do, it's going to be disappointing. It's not going to make anyone happy.
Right.
Some capacity,
because that's
There's
what
no
they've
way.
been doing from day one, is making people unhappy and crying and flaming, and so I think they're going to keep doing that. That's where my mind would be. Yeah.
I have the same 4 achievements that you have left, and an additional 5. And all of my 5 are for, I need to finish 500 waves. I need to do 1,000 multiplayer. But it's just grindy stuff, right? Not even like impossible microtransaction stuff. It's just grindy, and I just never got to it. While I do hope that it would be nice to see, from my standpoint, it would be nice if they lowered all of these things drastically. One of the best, if you can have a best server closure, one of the best server closures that there ever was Marvel Heroes Omega. They made all of the loot boxes like 1 crystal, which was like an in-game currency, and I think they gave you like a ton of crystals, if not an infinite amount. I don't remember, but you just open these loot boxes after loot boxes after loot boxes, and you had like 3 or 4 weeks to do it, and you still had to play a lot of the game, but you just kind of get that little endorphin rush for getting these loot boxes, and you didn't have to spend any money to do it, and it was awesome. If I could have that in Gears Pop, that would be great. I would put a window on my computer. I would put Tiny Task on that loot box, and I would just quote unquote buy loot boxes all day long, which would help with the pins. It wouldn't help with the wins or the getting good part, but it would help in some of those things. Obviously, the ones that I think will be the hardest, besides the max level stuff, is that gold. If you have not got it to the highest, or whatever the highest league is, I don't know if it's gold.
It's gold.
If you have not gotten up to that, then that's going to be tough if they do not change anything about it, especially if they made it easier for people to level up their pins.
Yeah.
It'd be ridiculous. So,
Well, and I think that's a good way to split the difference. Like, don't drop the 1,000 wave requirement to, just turn it on, because that still rewards the players who put time in.
mm-hmm.
But the only way you're going to allow players who've already put in hundreds of hours to actually finish these achievements is to dramatically lower the cost. That's the only way. There really is no middle ground. So if they do something like that where it still rewards people who put in the time all along, because you're not nerfing the time into the game requirement, you're nerfing the white whale, the payment requirement, that it wouldn't make everyone happy, Koosh, so you'd still get your wish. But I think it would do a better job of satisfying most people.
Elle, out of the 4 of us, you have the least progress. Although it's not much less than myself. Would changing the achievements to be easier, would that entice you to go back?
I would say yes.
Is this even on your phone anymore?
I would say maybe. I think it is. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
It's getting worse.
So do you have any different thoughts other than just give me the achievements?
I would say no.
Oh, there we go.
All right, that works. That's fair.
Right,
I'm
we can
actually
end that
reading
there.
the tweet by the dev saying we'll give you an update, and people are just the comments people are making are ridiculous. I mean, I would definitely welcome anything to make them easier, of course, but of course that would make people that put all the work in unhappy. But meh.
At this point, I kind of see it as
I
it's just a nice thing they're doing, because they don't have to even mention Gears Pop ever again.
Why even?
They did, so
I don't think they're going to change anything, but they bothered to tweet
make
about
it known.
I mean,
that they're thinking about it.
is this
Carnage commented. He said, "It would be great if you made all the achievements unlock instantly after all the struggles I've had with getting this game to load and never getting the stuff I paid for." Interesting.
Is this tweet?
Sure. If you look under that, Chip said something like, "Yeah, I want to do as little as possible," and Carnage says, "Yeah, in fact, I just tried logging in again and still won't sign me in." So it wouldn't even work.
Good luck
that
getting
was the case.
Well, I just wondered too if some of this is like upcoming PR. Like, I don't know, Mediatonic. I think that's the company that largely ran it. I don't know if they're the ones behind this particular Twitter for Gears Pop, because it's directly from Gears Pop, but they might have another project that they're working on that they're getting ready to launch, and they're kind of this is sort of to remember when we changed those achievements, like download our next free game. So there might be something in the works for them too that makes this beneficial, because like you said, after 2 months of saying nothing, with now 3 months till closure, it's like, we might change the achievements. So might be just remember us. You don't mean
Mediatonic, the gurus behind Fall Guys, who may or may not be coming to Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, it's not according to what they say.
In deleted tweets.
Right. Remember how we changed those achievements? And by the way, Fall Guys, and everything's forgiven.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. Hopefully those, at least in my opinion, I hope those in-game transactions will go on major sale, as in free. Speaking of sales, Koosh, do you have any browser-based window panes locked in yet?
What? Sure. I have these imaginary pictures in front of me that show me games and their prices and such. And one that's sticking out to me is this game called Jagged Alliance Rage! That is $6 down from $30. It's turn-based strategy, and I only picked this because I wanted to suggest this for my buddy Rocker, since he liked, what was that one with the pig and the duck? Mutant Zero.
Iron Snout.
Yeah, since I think you genuinely liked that game, right?
I did like that game.
Okay.
But I thought you were trolling me when you wrote Pick Rocker, because we've been playing Indivisible and it's turn-based-ish.
No, I picked this game because it reminded me of Mutant Year Zero. It's cheap. I thought maybe you'd want to just look at it. And
you know what?
If you look at it...
With your recommendation, I will.
Well... I've played it, so I don't know anything about it, but from the look of it, I think you might look at it and see what you think, and maybe other people would as well. A game I have played is Rogue Stormers. I've talked about it before. I think I've recommended it before, and I'm going to do it again. It's $4, down from $20. It's a roguelite platformer run and gun, and I enjoy this game. I haven't played it in a very long time, but why wouldn't I? I would go back and play that if a contest made me or told me to do it. Our buddy Skeptical Mario has completed it because he loves roguelites. And he's got a lot of score because of this game. So you might want to check that out. If you don't care about completions, I'd like to mention or point out Titan Quest. Maybe you're the type of gamer that wants to complete every game that has the word quest in the title. Or get gamer score in those games. So maybe you should check this out.
Do we know anyone like that?
$12 down from... I know one person like that. If you... Expovos, Chronos, however you want to say it. $12 down from $30. It's an action RPG, role-playing dungeon crawler. It's 80 to 100 hours. It has DLC, and the DLC is where you'll find 2 unobtainables, 1 per DLC. And in a related note, the DLC is also on sale, which was very rare previously. Now it seems like every 2 months it goes on sale. And those are Atlantis and Ragnarok, and they are $13.99 each, down from $20 each. So that would be, using my math, that would be $28 basically, if you're going to buy each one of those. So not a huge deal, but the fact that these have gone on sale is maybe something worth mentioning.
Okay.
80 to 100 hours with unobtainables DLC.
Sounds glorious.
If you don't care about completions, maybe this is for you. I love a good dungeon crawler. So
if you don't care about completions, you're probably not putting 80 to 100 hours into this game. But
maybe you like to play with other people.
If you
who likes to play with other people?
You might not be having fun.
Oh boy!
Tomato.
All right, fine. Let's play it, Michelle.
No.
Okay, great. Do
you have any sales requests of the peoples this week, El?
Yeah, I took up the mantle this week of the 0 to 1 hour games. If you're the type of person where $5 is just way too much, but $3, sign me up. Good old Rattle-like Syrup and the Ultimate Sweet visual novel. $3.24. So, I mean, I guess if every game was $5 and they were $3, it would be a significant savings if you just wait. Another Rattle-like game is Night and Plus, which I've talked about on previous shows that I enjoyed that one.
I think we all did. And that is a standout rat.
It's a standout rat. It is $3 instead of $5. And 112th Seed is an East Asia soft game. I enjoyed that one very much as well. A little puzzler for $3.49. Not too much this week after I believe last week's sales were way better with all the bundles. I actually bought a couple of them. Instead of just talking, I bought stuff. I bought the Deponia games, and I bought some Artifacts Monday games. So excited to get to some of those.
I see sleeping in your future.
Wait a minute.
What did you get, Michelle? Or what do you recommend on sale?
I didn't get anything, and I don't know necessarily that I'd recommend them. But one of the things that I know from listening to the show week in and week out is you guys recommend a lot of stuff. Koosh specifically is very on top of sales and kind of picking out games that you may not have heard of and pitching them here. So I picked a couple games that I saw on the list that I was not aware of, and that, with the exception of you, Corey, I don't think any of the four of us have played. So the first one I picked was Cruise Bros. It's a 5 to 6 hour completion, normally $4.99 down to 99 cents. It's in the sports boxing genre for those of you who like to try to go up obscure sports leaderboards on TA. And what really caught my eye about it was the review for the game, because if you look at Cruise Brothers on TA, its rating is a 1.67 out of 5. But the snippet from the review for the game that's highlighted is a surprisingly deep story is cleverly woven amongst a fun fighter with unique gameplay and an awesome art style. So I don't know if this guy was playing a different game, or if it's something where Cruise Brothers has a 1300 TA score over the 1000 gamer score. So I think we've all experienced this where you play a game that looks easy and then it's not as easy as we hoped it was, and we begin to hate it a little bit. I'm looking at you, Spiral Splatter. So I don't know if this was this person's, like, just went in and played it and had a great experience. His overall review of the game was 3 out of 5 stars, so it's not like he gave it the full 5. But that just sounds so not what I expected seeing that. So it definitely got me curious. And for $1, if that's your thing, again, sports leaderboards, boxing, maybe that's worth checking out. Corey, you had maybe 1 or 2 achievements in it. Looks like you started it at least.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't have more. I would not recommend it based off that little bit of Chapter 1 or Chapter 2 I played. It just wasn't good. But maybe for $1, though, you're almost losing money at that point.
So you don't buy it. You don't like surprisingly deep stories, cleverly woven amongst fun fighters with gameplay and awesome art style?
I never found that. So that deep story is deeply hidden.
Well, you play the game on mute, so you'll never get it, so... But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, maybe.
We can't judge that. I mean, we can, but we're not going to. So the other game I noticed was We Sing Pop. And I mostly noticed this because the me of maybe 5 years ago would have picked this up because it's a music genre game. And there are not as many music genre games these days as there once were. This came out in 2017, so it's not all that new. But it is down to $8.99 from $29.99. Just, you have to be aware if you're choosing to play this, it does have 2 unobtainables, and from what I read from the achievement lists as I was scrolling through it, even other achievements seem to be glitchy based on what game modes you're playing. So I don't know that I would really totally recommend this, but it has a 30-song list. It is marked down, especially sometimes if you have other people in the house. It's fun to have these kind of games where you can just plug in and do something a little different and involve other people in your household. So it might be worth giving a look.
Yeah, there is only one person I would recommend We Sing Pop to, and that would be none other than Kenny on stream. But,
oh, yeah.
We can make that happen.
Because I would have to see it to make it worth it. But
we'd have to we could make that happen. I looked. One thing I realized from music games kind of not being the big thing anymore, I used to know some new music. I don't really listen to the radio. You know, I have Spotify, so I listen to the same 12 albums that I like, but at least the music games would help me know new music. I looked at this list, and unless the song was from 1990 or earlier, I had no idea what it was. So there's that value to it too. Maybe I can, be hip or something.
Yeah, if it was me, I would need We Sing podcasts.
Oh,
and I would have to use the Z2Z DLC. Hello and welcome to the Z2Z podcast, home of the Xbox Achievement Hunters and Gamerscore Junkies. Man, it's been a while since I've heard that. All right. Well, good sale recommendations, guys. Check that out. I did see a lot of THQ Nordic stuff on sale, so if those happen to be your jam, like the new SpongeBob or the new the remaster of Destroy All Humans, that kind of stuff is on there.
Or We Sing Pop.
Elle, tell us about the best kind of sales. Or We Sing Pop.
Free stuff?
Free! Yes, free stuff.
The best kind of stuff is free stuff. Now, short of giving a sandwich with every game, this is the way to go. Games with gold, January is coming to an end, so if you haven't grabbed Little Nightmares yet, you have until the 31st to grab it. And of course, who wouldn't want the OG Xbox game Breakdown, also leaving on the 31st? You still have a little while to grab Dead Rising, that leaves February 15th. The new announcement for February was interesting because usually there are 4 games, but I think there are 5 games. Gears 5 is the main event if for some reason you don't have Game Pass and just have regular gold like the people you were talking about earlier. This is a great ad. Gears 5.
Or if you don't plan on having Game Pass forever, now you own this.
That is a good...
Of course, you'd have to keep gold, so it kind of like...
Right, it cancels itself out.
No, that's a good point.
First-party Microsoft games are just weird to see as Game Pass games at this... Or as games with gold games at this point because of their... Yeah. They're never going to leave Game Pass. They don't have that same fear that we have with other games that enter Game Pass. But maybe that's why they gave us 5 this month. This is the bonus game. Maybe not the main event.
Bonus game. The Resident Evil remake is another quality title. February 1st through February 28th. So you have less days in the month, so you better act quick. Grab Resident Evil on February 1st. On February 16th, Dandara, the Vayner with the high TA that people seem to either really like or hate, joins February 16th. I, of course, dived this game while I was on Game Pass and wound up buying it, so maybe I have to start a new letter writing campaign and try to get a refund for that one. Good luck to that one. The OG Xbox game Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb joins February 1st. No one's going to get it. And actually, I believe that spawned a conversation in Discord about, have there ever been any good Indiana Jones games? And Koosh is like, if it's a point and click, then it's good, right?
Yeah. Point and click ones.
Yeah. See, that's what they should be, right?
Oh, the Lego ones. Lego ones.
That's true. The Lego ones are very good.
They were not bad, actually. It was all downhill from there. Mm-hmm. Speaking of all downhill, Lost Planet 2, February 16th to February 28th, has a whopping 141 completions on TA out of 65,000 people, and a 200-plus hour completion estimate. That said...
Yeah, nobody's playing that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. But I believe it's supposed to be good, though, that series. So, just another series. Don't have time for them all, but anyone who likes that one, it's a third-person shooter. I believe it has some co-op. And unshockingly, Awu has the completion. So there.
Interesting. Dandara makes the month for me.
That's
$15
great.
saved.
That definitely is.
FOMO did not get me that time. All right, moving on to Game Pass news. Well, there's not much. The only thing that there is that Project Winter, this social sabotage-like game that we talked about last week, that was supposed to be out today as we're recording the 26th. It has been delayed. There's a bug in the build, and so they don't want to push that out yet. So February 4th is the new date for Project Winter. If we could get a couple more people, because I think you should probably have at least 6, maybe 8. I'm going to lobby for this to be our game for the stream next week when we do our live show.
Staff
we'll
only?
see if that happens. Staff and other people.
Can Oliver play?
He can make a vocal appearance.
Okay.
And so that brings me to a new segment, something I'm trying out. So let me know if you like it. Let me know if you hate it. But I like to look at the calendar, the release calendar. And so this is my coming soon section, and I'm calling it Coming Real Soon. Don't isolate that.
Wow.
Soundboard, yeah.
So, in the following week, I'm just going to do Sunday to Saturday. The following calendar week after the podcast drops, I just kind of want to look at the games coming out and give you a real quick hit on them. And maybe you'll find something that you like that you did not know was coming. And so on February 2nd, Control Ultimate Edition comes out. Easy. That's the series versions of Control. Regular Ultimate people already will have it. So you just got to have a series console to play it. On Wednesday, a new game comes out called Habarexia 2. This is a non-linear old school space shooter. You get upgrades, there's boss fights. It is a horizontal shoot 'em up. And that's pretty much it. You know the game at that point. Like I said, Project Winter is now coming out on Thursday, and I'm just realizing that we will record on Tuesday, so that's not going to be what we play.
Yeah.
You knew that too, didn't you?
They got us again because we were going to do that with
Gang Beast.
Yeah, Gang Beast. Yes.
Yeah.
We've been
That Project
podcasted.
Winter will be a community, and I
at some
guarantee
point.
it.
Yes.
It might even be the next day, Friday, if or Saturday. We'll see. That will be played. It'll be a lot of fun. But that's that 8-person multiplayer game, social deception, survival. You're wanting to basically survive and escape. You need to gather resources and repair structures. And there's obviously somebody trying to sabotage you from doing all of that and winning. On Friday, February 5th, we have there's another one on Thursday called Werewolf the Apocalypse. Elle has a specific interest in this game. It is on his Fantasy Critic.
Wait.
This is a unique experience full of savage combat and mystical adventures inspired by the famous role-playing game.
Oh.
Now, I looked at it a little bit today.
I've played that
It's
game.
kind of like Maneater if it was werewolves. You're a human and you turn into a werewolf, and it looks like you're just going through the story, going through these buildings. I don't know. Very normally action combat-y game. But you play as a werewolf, so there's that. And that will have a Xbox One version and a Series version. So 2 lists there.
Oh, great.
It's interesting how, I hadn't
Yep.
heard about this game, but having played the pen and paper RPG Werewolf, now I'm suddenly interested because I had no idea this was a thing. So thank you for bringing it up.
Definitely check out a video. You might be surprised. It doesn't look terrible.
That's always a
But
good thing.
who knows?
Yeah, right. That's the best compliment we
Yeah.
can give something. It doesn't immediately look
It's
terrible.
like a 2 out of 5.
Doesn't look terrible. Speaking of not looking terrible, Glittering Sword is a game coming out on Friday the 5th. And I'm just going to read this description straight from Steam. Glittering Sword is full with spiritual references to classical gaming brands from the 90s. That was a previous sentence. It's from the 90s. And I clicked the back button. Jeez.
Amateur hour over here.
All right. Anyways, yeah, and it's shiny and balanced graphical settings, helps the player to dive into the memorable adventure. Best way to describe the game by phrase: fantasy adventure set in a cozy world with Sakuban-style puzzles.
Ooh.
Here, each screen is the individual location with traps, enemies, portals, and switches, and the player needs to learn the exact order of completing things the right way. It really had me. It kind of looks like, I thought it was a more of a Zelda-y game at first, but then they threw in this puzzle sentence, and that kind of threw me for a loop. It still looks pretty fun. If you like puzzle games, Michelle, look at Glittering Sword. It looks like the indie game out of the week, out of all of these, except maybe the last one.
Yeah.
Outbreak also comes out Friday, and specifically Outbreak: The Nightmare Chronicles. And you might be saying, that's already out. Well, this is the definitive edition, and it is the Xbox Series version. So here we go, bloating up the store and putting these quote-unquote crappy games, from my perspective, having a series list. So the stacks, they are coming, and you're going to have to pay for them again. And the last one, same day, Friday, February 5th. This one, let's see if I can get somebody to be interested in it. It's called Roombo First Blood. It is a comedic top-down stealth action game about being a robot vacuum cleaner. And so burglars are trying to come into your home. You could see their area of sight, so you can know exactly if they can see you or not. And I saw one of the examples is to kill somebody is you were in front of a fireplace as the robot vacuum cleaner. He was coming. The burglar was coming to get you, and like you activated like a super little explosion in this fireplace, and you killed the dude. Or you can control a ceiling fan and it falls on somebody. I don't know. It was pretty funny. Blood goes everywhere. And you're a vacuum. You're vacuuming up the blood. It looked really fun. So that's called Roombo, First Blood.
Oh yeah, I'm in on this. I haven't seen anything, but you sold me. So
man, if this was on Game Pass, right? Because these are just games.
You know what
that
movie?
was my coming soon section
being released, right?
What's that?
You know what movie that's based off, Corey?
Oh no!
Is it based off a movie? I know it's based off of a vacuum cleaner, Roomba.
Oh my! Are you kidding me? You're kidding me, right?
Oh, Rambo.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know you meant like the specific name, First Blood.
Oh, I was scared.
No,
I was scared.
But no, I've never seen Rambo. So.
That's okay.
I haven't seen it either, but you should have heard of it, right?
Like the gameplay is not like Rambo, but I'm more focused on the Roombo part. Rambo. I get it now. I get it more. Okay. Anyways, that was this new section. Let me know if you guys like to hear what's coming out really, really soon, as in the next week, and yeah, we might keep it going. But back onto track with the normally scheduled contest corner.
Wait, can I take us off track?
This week I'm going to let Michelle.
One second. There's one game that slipped between the cracks between Game Pass release and upcoming release that I'm super excited for that will have launched yesterday if you're listening to this podcast on launch, and that's The Medium. I'm actually really excited for that. So I just wanted to say that I am excited for it, and I hope there are other people in Discord excited for it because it's supposed to be story driven. So hopefully there'll be some of us who will be playing it sort of right at launch, and we can probably squirrel away somewhere where we're not giving spoilers to people who aren't playing it at launch. But it just missed both cuts, so I just wanted to throw that out there real quick.
Yeah, that was in the cut segment coming real soon. So
like yesterday. I needed it yesterday.
So
right.
Yeah, no, definitely. If there's enough interest in that, then I'm perfectly fine if we want to set up a little game club channel. We don't have to record anything, but yeah, let Michelle know if you're interested.
Okay, sounds good.
And yeah, but so back to our track here, Contest Corner, and I'm going to let Michelle take the reins on G-Test this week.
You are going to let me take just salt in the wound. So, as you know, last week I was eliminated by 20 points, or 70 points. But to be completely honest, I wasn't too upset. I had a couple bonuses IQs. It was wonderful not playing to G-Task this week. But enough about last week. This week, we had 2 members of the community bid their farewells to G-Task, and that would be both L and Freaky RO. So, L, how does it feel to be done with the G-Task this year?
I mean, I think I had a good run. I mean, I did amazing.
Well,
I mean, totally. Like, to be honest, I enjoyed G-Task. I enjoy playing bad games, or I enjoy like anytime I score anything and looking, refreshing and looking on the TA page, seeing where I am on the leaderboard. But I'm okay being out of it now.
Awesome, and congratulations.
Did you try this past week?
Oh, not at all.
Okay. So you had already made your peace with being done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and let's keep in mind as we're going through G-Test now, I think we're down to the top 70 in individual, and there were over 2,000 registrants, and we're up to the top 22 teams this week out of 500 teams that registered. So excellent job, both Elle and Freaky, for making it this far. That excellent work, and good luck to everyone who's still in the competition. If you're still in G-Task, the period 17 bonuses are as follows. For the solo bonus, we have Time Warp, and that's to end the scoring period with the exact same gamer score and achievement game as the previous period. This just strikes me as mean, but you're going to be looking for a gamer score that has better TA, because whatever you did last week isn't going to be enough, so good luck to those of you still in solo. And for the team bonus, we have Now Play Nice. This is to end the scoring period having unlocked at least 20 achievements flagged as cooperative, and everyone on the team must unlock this. So if you're still involved in Chewie's Chocolate Chip Challenge, I think that's what you called it earlier, Elle.
Sure.
And you're still working on your co-op achievements, this marries nicely to what's going on in G-Task. Otherwise, this one should not be too hard to do. You could play Morkred and get 20 co-op achievements if you haven't done that yet, and get decent TAD.
Yeah, and I just noticed, I'm checking our account. If you want to be tracked, then you do need to friend our AH101 account. I see 10 individuals left. That sounds like a good shout out. So Bastion Reader, High Road, Elroy, Lego Head, Chesno, Wakapeil, Alex RD, Saucy Slingo, Triple Triad, and Ben L72 still in it in individual. And we're tracking 2 teams with I think a combination of some of those people. And these 2 teams are likely to at least make it to the semifinals, if you ask me. But we got some strong hitters in the last stretch here. All right. We do have more contests and G-Tasks. Nate, tell us about your baby.
Sure. So her name, Gamertag Challenge.
Whoa.
The month is January, as most people know if you own a calendar or a phone or Alexa. The Gamertag was Death Dealers with the wildcard game of Battlefield 1, and she's more than happy to help you get that or do it for you. The bonus is Double D's, achievements containing a word with a doubled consonant, like battle or buddy, and achievements containing the letter D are, of course, worth 2 points. And since it is the end of January, that means February is next, and we have rolled our Patreon donors Gamertag Challenge will be with the Fug. And he has no idea what the wildcard game is, and we have no idea what the bonus is, but I'm sure we will know that in a week.
But we do know you can use Wilmot's Warehouse. Mm-hmm.
What? No.
You're so good at
that.
foreshadowing.
Cool.
You did so well. I appreciate it.
I mean, it makes sense that Fug gets the shortest month since he has the shortest temper, so it definitely makes most sense.
And the least amount of vowels in his name.
Yes.
Oh, and the least amount of time left on Earth because he's old.
Now, for people that
It's an old joke, everybody.
Oh, gosh. For people still participating, for the people who are participating in Gamertag Challenge, it must be a thrill to not have to find an E game or an I game or whatever else. And these are good letters where you should have plenty of options. You got Gears of War coming into Games with Gold next month. You're all set.
Yeah, there should be no problem with that. And looks like there's one more thing on my list, the BCM.
I know.
You have a little hot take there, El, on the BCM?
Yeah, we haven't talked about BCM much lately. That's the Better Completions Matter challenge. I just really wanted to take this time and brag about the fact that I finished my January game, which was Halo 4, that I have been holding on to apparently since like 2012 or 2013 was the last time I got an achievement in that game. So that was my random game of the month, and they just announced the random games for February. Did you see that yet, Michelle?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm going to read yours right now, unless you want to.
We'll do that later.
All right, well, I'm going to read mine then.
Mm-hmm.
Emily wants to play.
Good luck. So for those of you who aren't aware, with Better Completions Matter, once a month, if you're participating, you get a random game drawn for you to complete during that month. And there's a bonus for completing all of the random games. It is a year-long challenge, so unfortunately registrations are closed right now. But Iron Fist Stuff has been doing this annually for, I think this is the 3rd year now. He does amazing work with all the different special categories he has in there. I know it's only February and it would be a long time to wait, but people have done that and they're having a good time participating. Similar to Elle, I had a game I had shelved for a long time in the month of January that I was able to complete, so very grateful for that. So he does great work with that, Iron does, and if you're interested in Better Completions Matter, even just to hear the hype about it, join the room in the Discord. There's always conversation in that room. It's very active. And, again, great work to Iron for running it. It's a lot of fun, and he puts a lot of time into it.
What game did you finish up again, Michelle?
Burnout Paradise for the Xbox 360.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a stack now on that game, and it made me very sad to think I don't have any more Burnout Paradise achievements to earn. Like, I actually had a moment there when I got the last one. I was like, oh, well, this story is over. But I was really glad to get back to it and get it done. Great game, and it was fun to return to, and I probably wouldn't have without the motivation from Better Completions Matter.
It was fun watching you go from Burnout to Forza and messing up the controls.
Oh, yeah, well.
That's something we all would do in that kind of situation. He's got another co-op thing for February called Lovebirds, where we're going to be teamed up with random people we might not even know who they are. So I believe the idea is to complete the same games that they do. So those have not been drawn yet. Those will be drawn tomorrow. But he did the random games a little bit early, it looks like.
Awesome.
And last but not least, I do want to mention Warboats. By the time you hear this, you'll have just over 2 weeks left to sink at least one boat to get your community badge. Again, that is a grid of 64 random achievements from the collection that you can curate to. And you just have to sink one of the boats, and they're randomly placed throughout the board. And there's a ship that's 2 spaces long, 3, 4, 5. Actually, there's 3 ships. I'm thinking maybe on the spot here, guys, maybe in 2 weeks' time we can do a little warboat section because it covers a lot of stuff. Maybe we can just tell a little experience if we have any.
That might be a fun.
I'm hitting it hard, so I definitely have some stories to tell from it. And I heard a little joke about warboats this past week from Mental Knight, so all credit to him. This is basically, it's a little bit of a stretch here. Yar TDL.
Yes, I enjoyed it when he wrote that too.
That's good.
One point of clarification, because you had mentioned last week about continuing to play past sinking a ship, and I'm pretty sure that if you sink all of your ships, the grid does lock. So if you want to go for a blackout, make sure to leave something where you know it's a ship space, so that you're able to do that. I think that would make a great segment on its own, because we could easily spend a good amount of time speaking about our warboats experiences. I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've mentioned it very quickly before. I am going to try to go for a blackout, and Michelle is right. If you're going to do the same, it's going to stop counting any of that stuff as soon as you hit your last boat. So mine's planned out. It will be my last one, and it's kind of funny. Since it's kind of, navally themed warboats, the achievement happens to be cat out of water.
Nice.
So, we'll go with that.
One other thing to keep in mind, if you haven't registered for warboats yet, it only draws achievements from like a 1 to a 1.99 ratio or a 1 to a 2 ratio. So don't stress. I know some people were worried about, like, they didn't want to put high ratio things in there. Like, put whatever in there. It's only going to draw the lowest stuff. It's like all of us have experienced is pretty clumpy. I think I have 5 achievements from Sherlock Holmes and The Devil's Daughter. I know you said, Corey, earlier you had a bunch of achievements from Black Sad. So put whatever in there, and just it's a good time. It'll help you clear up some of your easy games. I have easy games that L recommended for sale, Night and Plus and 112th Seed, both of them on my list. So it's really great for cleaning up that easy stuff.
And breaking news here. We have we won't spend a lot of time on it, but Leapfrog has ended. That is a big, big, big thing. If you recall, Leapfrog was a competition that started 130-ish days ago. And basically, you just needed to get an achievement a day, and you had to increase that achievement count by 1 every single day. And we finally have winners. Elle, can you tell me those winners?
I can. We have Black Blood, Mad Eye Pad Eye, Inigo Montoya 80, and Android Odd Netin, that I just realized now, after seeing his name for a while, that is Nintendo spelled backwards. I'll be damned. So yeah, congratulations to those guys.
4 winners. Interesting.
Yeah, more on that at another date.
But can you tell us briefly, Elle, why we wound up with 4 winners of Leapfrog?
Yes, because they decided that their mental health and wallets and
families
and families and everything else were, it was not good. Sleep. They all made comments after this that, I got 8 hours sleep. It's been months.
Well, congratulations to all 4 of them for sticking with that. That is an incredible amount of dedication to a fictional points contest. But definitely respect it and their ability to stick with it that whole time, and that they all agreed to bow out and nobody decided at 0 hour that they were just going to pop 1 more achievement. So that's good. Nice agreement there by everybody.
I actually believe that they talked to Rich and he coded it so nobody could do that.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't believe any.
Yes.
All those guys are stand-up
I think
people.
they're all.
I think it would have been fine anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like someone like Chip was in there. He would have definitely cheated.
I know a couple of these folks are in Discord, and they're, we see them and they're stand-up people. One of these guys is actually in my Gems of War guild, so I don't know how he had the time to play Gems of War and get these 130 achievements a day. I'm not familiar with Black Blood, but like they all definitely deserve to get where they got, and it's awesome that they kind of had the handshake agreement to just let it ride and be done with it.
And to split the winnings too.
Is that how they decided to do that? They split it?
Yeah, I believe they got
that. No, we don't. I don't know anything about that.
I think Rich is giving them 3 years each of TA Pro.
Yeah, I think so too. You'll definitely hear a little bit more about those winners soon, TM. But we just want to shout out them because that just happened. So good on you guys. Good job. All right, moving on to our favorite spot to shout people out. And that is Brad Camp. As always, I'm going to start Brad Camp off with our completions. And remember, if you want to be shouted out, just friend the AH101 account on True Achievements. That's the one with all the numbers behind it. You'll see our logo. That's when you know you're in the right spot. Anyways, completions. BenL72 has completed 300 games, and Neo21 has completed 350 games. JZarp43 is at 450, and Raw Sauce Ross, love that name, 500 completed games. The next two, I'm just going to shout out because I want them to know in case they don't. Railbait, Toadstyle Venom. They're at 695 and 995 completions, respectively. You got 5 games to pick a big one. And Toadstyle Venom, yours is a big one. 1,000 games coming up, so I want to see something special, boys. Inigo Montoya 80, one of those Leapfrog winners, has completed at least another 15 games this past week. I think we say that every time. He's passed the 1,200 mark and the 1,210 mark. But yeah, more games. And you're going to hear his name
a lot
in just a second. Because on completion percentage, he makes that list with a few others. Everybody on this list has at least more than 10,000 achievements on that they can get on their tag. To keep that in mind, the majority of them have more than like upper 20,000. So, anyways, Death Dealers is at 51% completion percentage. Toadstyle Venom 77%. Alex RD at 79%. Yinga Garten 86%. Uncle Tim Fu 92%. And Inigo Montoya, all of those completed games, over 1,200, 97% completion percentage. I hope he uses the right settings.
In ratio,
definitely.
We have Icefire TN playing difficult games. Good job, buddy, with a TA ratio of 1.9. Everyone else plays baby games. In streaks, we have Retro Chief 1969 and EOJ with 25-day streaks. We have Legohead 1977 also with the 25. Let me back that up. How about I'm going to read a whole bunch of 25-day streaks, which I meant to do, but there's a page break. And our 25-day streakers are Retro Chief 1969, EOJ, Legohead 1977, Johnny Delicious, NBA Kirkland, Mental Knight 5, and Officer 0. Moving on to some larger streaks, we have MDP 73 with 175, Bastion Meter with 1,125, Saucy Slingo with 2,475, Blue Thunder 7398 with 2,800, Big L with 2,950, and Prince It is currently on a 1-year achievement win streak, which is not as much as 2,950, so my sorting algorithm needs a little bit of work.
It's
good enough.
Yeah, 1 year, but
different.
That's impressive. 1 year, but that first year is when you know you're in, and at some point we'll be reading about your 2,950th day too. Moving on to Achievements 1, we have Sir Polygon with 8,500 Achievements 1, Freedom Girl with 9,500, High Road V2 with 15,500 Achievements 1. Northern Lass got in just under the wire for this particular recording and at 19,000 Achievements 1. Red 047 is at 20,000 Achievements 1. Raw Sauce Ross at 21,000. Ahizo at 22,500, Unky Tim FU at 24,500, and Facial LaFleur at 25,500 Achievements 1. Very nice, everyone. Moving on to Gamerscore, we have Luke the Duke 268, who is at 75,000 Gamerscore. Doughboy is at 200,000. Quick Don't Die and JZarp43 have 600,000. And following on what was said earlier, we have someone who's closing in on a really big milestone. Prue is at 980,000 gamer score. So before long, he's going to be joining that Millionaires Club.
Don't be Halo. Don't be Halo.
I hope he's got something interesting picked out. We will see.
Is it my turn? My turn. TA score. Saucy Slingo has 650,000, and the Patriots suck, but at this point, everyone sucks who are not the Chiefs and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady. Freaky Row, 700,000 TA score. Petard, 700,000 TA score. Tropan, 900,000, which is just about as many Bitcoin dollars that he has. Quick Don't Die is worth has reached 1.3 million TA score. And Prue with 1.5 TA score, which means at least I could tell him that his ratio is poop. Oh, look. Leaderboards. Let me go alphabetize them in my brain. There I go. And done. Alex RD is in the top 10,000 of the TA difference leaderboard. Corey's favorite, Dan is in the top 1,000 of the TA difference leaderboard for Metroidvania. And top 2,000? That makes no sense. Unless he played like 5,000 games. Death Dealers is in the top 20 of the Ohio Gamerscore leaderboard for management. And the top 2,000 of the Gamerscore leaderboard for management overall. Eliphalet is in the top 100 of the TA difference leaderboard for Metroidvania. He absolutely loves Indivisible, and don't let anything he says tell you otherwise. Hat 90 is in the top 500 of the England TA leaderboard for sports. Sport. High Road Vatu is in the top 500 of the USA Gamer Score leaderboard. Some guy named KooshMoose is now in the top 20,000 of the TA leaderboard for role-playing.
Flex.
Larper.
It's got to be that Indivisible.
That's what you are. Northern Lass is now in the top 1,000 of the TA leaderboard for ID at Xbox. Quick Don't Die is in the top 100 of the TA leaderboard for Battle Royale, so I guess that makes sense with his gamer tag. And Quick Don't Die is also in the top 20 of the Gamerscore leaderboard for Roguelite. He plays non-baby games. Skeptical Mario is in the top 5 of the TA leaderboard for Vayners. Wow. That is just the AH101 crew. All in that top 10 over there. Wakapeil is now in the top 100 of the TA difference leaderboard for Metroidvanias. And I guess that leads me into an Angel Waka Gwei, in which he helped Kronos, J Black, and myself all in the same week complete totally reliable delivery service. Just wanted to give a quick thank you and a shout out to Waka. And Corey, the floor is yours again.
I think you forgot one.
Oh, a late addition to the milestone. Let me get out my spectacles. Skeptical Mario carries rawkerdude past KooshMoose in the gamer score in Metroidvania games for USA Leaderboard. What's an oddly specific?
Take that is. That's crazy.
Okay, so some of that Metroidvania score is mine. And this... My plan, Warboat's got in the way, but this is a preemptive milestone, just so you know. Mine didn't kick off for some reason, but I hit top 10 in the USA, and Koosh happens to be number 9. By the time this podcast is out, don't worry, it'll be rectified, and I will be passed.
And I will have surpassed him again.
Oh boy!
And you're only 90 gamer score ahead of me.
And neither of you will have played Symphony of the Night, so you suck.
What's that?
I don't know.
All right. So there we go. That's Brat Camp. Normally we would end the show here, but I'm going to do one little thing a little different, and that is our community questions. So we just want to end with a short discussion. This is our community side quest, Sean. And this week it comes from J Black. J Black wants to know, do you think there will always be competition in the console space, i.e., PlayStation versus Nintendo versus Xbox? Could we ever get to a place where it's like TV, where there's one system and you just subscribe to different channels for platform-specific games? Has anybody thought about this? Does anybody have any ideas of what the future could hold?
I kind of thought that this was Microsoft's end game already with Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
You don't right now. You would need a Windows 10 based PC. And obviously they have a foot in the door being Microsoft and all. But I think that's kind of been the long-term goal for them for a while, is to move away from being a console. Now they have stated that they are about keeping consoles and the importance of consoles and things like that. But they're getting all that groundwork ready for when that's no longer the case. So I could see it happening, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. With the more they keep souping up consoles to be really, just as they are, high-end computers specifically for video gaming, they're going to keep hitting that mark until you don't need to build a special gaming PC to game as effectively as you do on a console. But yeah, I think they're already setting the groundwork for that someday. We're just not there yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I played, what was it, Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night. I started that on my phone this past week, just for my warboats, and it was super smooth. I was able to play it without much lag at all, and I could have moved to a better spot really if I needed to, but it was fine the way it was.
Yeah, Tennessee sucks.
I don't know if we'll get it within the next console system, next console generation, actual box, or even the next one. But I could definitely see where, just like you said, they're laying the groundwork. The other two, not so much. I mean, I know PlayStation has a version of streaming. I hear it's not as great, and it's definitely not like xCloud so far. And Nintendo will never do it. You can just scrap them from this whole plan, but. Yeah, maybe one day. I don't think it's going to be in, as Elle would say, in Fug's lifetime, but, maybe soon.
I mean, Nintendo already views their own ecosystem that way, right? Like, you have the shop channel and whatever other channel, so they have that sort of internally, but you're right, they're typically behind in terms of that sort of broadcasting of their stuff, but Nintendo never really needs to catch up to that, because Mario will always sell for being Mario. But in terms of the other ones, you will never
be able to physically pay money for Mario on anything other than something that has Nintendo on it.
Exactly.
As sad as that is.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think you guys have all pretty much nailed it. We're already seeing the groundwork for it. Microsoft is going to push out a, xCloud-like solution for the PC. That's going to be the next thing we see, and at that point, it's just time for everybody else to catch up. And then it is basically what you said. It's a subscription service for exclusives. Or if you care about gamer score or trophies, you'll stick with that particular one. But at this point, being an Xbox person, at some point, probably the next year or two, you'll be able to play Xbox games without an Xbox. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. And you won't need a console at all. And that is where we're headed.
Or a high-powered PC.
Or a high-powered PC, yeah. You just need a high-powered internet connection. And not Comcast.
Oh,
streaming caps stink.
Any last thoughts, Elle, on Mr. Black's question?
Yeah, actually, for us olds, we had something available to us called the Sega Channel in 1994-ish. It lasted a couple of years. It was most notable for having Mega Man: The Wily Wars. So you can get on your cable service basically a digital Genesis that you could have played. So if
what?
Yeah.
This was a thing?
This was a thing in 1994.
I was 5.
Yeah.
I didn't know about
credit
this.
Was always an innovator, right? Like the Dreamcast was the first console I think that really dealt into like community-based gaming and things like that. Like I know the PlayStation had a broadband adapter, but Sega always was innovating this sort of stuff, but they were always just at the wrong time. Like the world was not ready for a streaming gaming platform in 1994. Now,
so with that said, it's surprising you don't see more of this now. If the technology was there a little bit back then.
I think we'll learn something from how a streaming game market will work based on how Stadia performs. In terms of
it's not going to be good then.
Well, in terms
it's
of
not going to be good.
In terms of whether other outside services can break in, is what I mean. If this is still going to be the landscape of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo kind of off on the side doing its own thing, and then PC, or if it's going to be something where other exclusive providers can enter the market, right? Like for the longest time it's been Steam, but now Epic has its own storefront. So we'll see how all of this changes and morphs with time. We'll get there eventually. We'll be able to carry our games everywhere we go at any time. But I think console boxes will still be a thing because they're just going to be marketed as this is the best way to play. It's not the only way to play, but it's going to be your best bet.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you're saying. I believe they tried out some things like on Netflix you could do Minecraft story mode, but I don't think stuff like that got much traction.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I think people want to play their video games on a video game console or their phone. But we'll see where we're at in a couple of years.
I think as much as they've made Hasbro games on the Xbox, right? Like you still really generally would prefer to sit down and actually play Connect 4 with someone sitting across from you, not on your video game system.
Ah. I whooped you in that game.
I am just dumbfounded right now.
Why? Oh, by the Sega channel?
I learned something today by L.
Yeah, it was real, and he's right about the Wily Wars. That was its big selling point. It was many years before that came anywhere else that you could try it.
Yeah, if you are curious, you can Google Sega Channel, and there's a link on the wiki page to the web archives from March 27th, 1997. You can see the fine work that Sega did to put together a website to learn you about Sega Channel. This is amazing.
You could play Legful Enforcers. Wow.
Their catch line seems to be get hooked in, and the font is different for each letter. So they had that SpongeBob meme font before SpongeBob was even a thing.
That was like a big 90s trope, was crazy. Cutting letters out of different magazines and whatever. Yeah. That was just the era.
Man, wow, that's crazy. I can't believe it was a thing then. Man. All right, well, Jay Black, thank you for that question. Remember, if you have a question, you can let us know. Find us on Twitter at Achievements101, discord.io/AH101 if you want to join there. Tons of channels to keep it organized, and you can opt in to see certain ones that you want to see and hide the ones that you don't. Plenty of helpful people there, and somebody's always there to talk to if you just need to vent or just want to chit chat. Next week, live show. Big important announcement. Next week is our live monthly show. You can see this part of the podcast streamed on our Twitch, twitch.tv/AH101, and we will do all the drawings. So that's right. Get your GTC entries in for the month. That will be a winner. If you would like to sub to our Patreon, you could find us at patreon.com/achievementhunting101, and we will draw a winner from our Patreon pool. If you are a Twitch subscriber, whether that's Amazon Prime free subscription or you want to just do a little subscribe action on our Twitch, that is a way that you can win. We will also have just a giveaway for anybody watching us live. So just being there will get you a chance to win something. So if I did my math right, that's five ways that you could win next week over at twitch.tv/AH101. All right, gentlemen and Michelle, thank you very much.
Who came in?
What's that?
Who are these gentlemen of which you speak?
Three Stooges thing. Anyway.
I like to try to keep it classy. Anyways, I thank you guys for joining me this week. That was level 131, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Class dismissed.
All right, class dismissed.
That too.
I mean, maybe everyone will just stay till next week.
We may as well just stay on the line until next week's show.
This channel will self-destruct.
In 1986, a well-known arcade franchise called Rampage was developed by Midway Games. This arcade game that allowed individuals to choose between 3 individuals who had morphed into various different gigantic monsters and destroy the city was an instant hit. 32 years later, The Rock decided to make Rampage mainstream again with a big picture adaptation of it. The movie finished is the 20th highest grossing movie of the year. Little did people know, but also in 1986, inspired by the events of the Rampage arcade game, Marshawn Terrell Lynch was born in Oakland, California. He was immediately dubbed Beast Mode by the way that he escaped the womb, untouched, and eventually found his way into the NFL. For the impending 35th anniversary of Beast Mode, Radaleka decided to get in on the licensing and created the game Loot Hero DX using Marshawn Lynch as a consultant on the gameplay. The end result is a game that is a fresh take on the hack and slash genre that was sorely lacking in quick games. Outside of World 2 Hunting Boss, no previous entries had a completion time under 5 hours. Well, that's changed now, let me tell you. That is not a problem with this game. Other hack and slash games, you are running around looking for things to slash and hack, and then once you do find them, you hack and slash them, and then the same enemies appear at least 1,000 times, and you hack and slash them as well. So Marshawn took that formula and turned it on its head. When asked about the game, this is what he said.
That's when it just clicked in my mind that if you just run through somebody's face, a lot of people ain't gonna be able to take that over and 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 over again. They just not gonna want that.
Think there's a deeper metaphor there?
Run through a motherfucker face. Then you don't have to worry about them no more.
The good folks at Radaleka spent at least a couple of hours dissecting this wisdom and implementing it into actual gameplay. For the low cost of $4.99, that is a discount, let me tell you. You too can have the Beast Mode experience. The game released mid-January, has 12 achievements, and is worth 6 whole TAD. You start the game, and you just run through somebody's face. You just run over and over and over and over and over. You just run through somebody's face. If you die, you just respawn. And then you go run through somebody else's face. Over and over. Eventually, the enemies aren't going to be able to take it. They're not going to take that over and over and over. That's it. That's all there is to it. You just keep holding right on the left stick or D-pad. And then as you fly to the right, you will occasionally need to buy some upgrades so that you can, be like Daft Punk and be harder, better, faster, stronger, so that you will just keep running through people's faces. Rinse and repeat, and you'll get your 1,000 gamer score and your 6 TAD. Now, on the surface, one might dismiss this as a meaningless game, but that would be a mistake. This is about resilience. How often, when things get challenging, do you just overplan or think twice? Sometimes the answer is as simple as the path in front of you. Leroy Jenkins knew this. Marshawn Lynch knows this. And the good folks at Radaleka want you to know this. If somebody or something is blocking you from where you want to go, you just run through their face. Then you don't have to worry about them no more. Do it for Beast Mode. Also, go play Loot Hero DX. Do it for our sponsor, Radaleka, and witness the evolution of the hack and slash genre. One with playability that you can play over and over and over and over again. Loot Hero DX. 5 out of 5 faces ran through. Get it now.
What's up, everybody? So, we're all familiar with Gamerscore, and I feel like it's safe to assume that if you're listening to this podcast, you're familiar with true achievement and TA difference and ratio and all those associated stats, but what about completion percentage? Whether you include DLC or not, some people love it, some people hate it. By the way, not including DLC is the right setting. But I think it's fair to assume that we all have at least one game that haunts us in this particular stat, dragging down what could otherwise be an impressive number. And that, dear listeners, is precisely what we're here to talk about. I mean, what else would you expect from a segment called Abandonment Issues? So, what exactly is this segment? Well, basically, me and my esteemed colleagues are just going to swap stories on certain games that we've abandoned and which are bringing down our completion percentages. So these can be games that were abandoned after just a few achievements or games that were abandoned near the completion, but the key here is that we don't know which games we're actually going to be talking about. We are very much going to be put on the spot and share what hopefully amounts to a funny story and isn't just, I don't know, I gave up. But before we get into that, who is this we that I'm speaking of? Well, if you read the show notes, you already know, but no one actually reads those except you, Big L. So joining me today is Southern Brer Elroy. How are you doing, Elroy?
Oh, I'm awesome, man. We get to record again so soon. Ooh. This is most excellent.
How long have you been saving that one? Since the last time we recorded.
Yeah, I left a couple on the table. I forgot to use excrement.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but there was a couple I left out, so I'll just leave it where they were.
Gotcha. Okay. And also joining us, hailing all the way from either Tatooine or Scotland, or I'm not actually sure, but Mr. Chewbacca himself, Chewie on Ice. What's up, my man? / beast hairy thing?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm very happy to be elevated to esteemed status. That's good to hear.
So yeah, it is me, Elroy, and Chewie, obviously, because we're the ones talking. So like I said, none of the three of us know what games we're going to be discussing, but we each picked one game for each other. So hopefully that's not confusing, but we'll each be talking about 2 games, one picked by each of our esteemed colleagues. So should be pretty straightforward. We'll just get right into it. So with my random number generator that I pulled up, which is not random at all, it looks like Chewie is going to share first.
Oh, man. All right, Chewie. Your moment of reckoning.
Hit me with it.
Well, let me just say that you have a very infectious laugh and a very infectious personality. And sometimes that leads to madness. And so I decided to go with the infectious madness of Dr. Decker. This is a game that was also produced in your homeland.
Wales.
I got that one. That was pretty good.
Yeah, and so I thought it was just only fitting that you tell us about, what those crazy lads over at the Wales Game Studio that what caused you to have a falling out with this game? Because at current, you have a whopping 8 achievements out of 21. For a whopping 130 gamer score, worth 151 TA. And there's a lot left on the table here. You only played it for 2 hours and 42 minutes.
For shame. I think that's an 8 to 10 hour completion, too.
Tell us, Chewie.
So 8 to 10 hours is I think has been mentioned in recent podcast episodes. It's quite a long game these days, actually.
Yes, it is.
In the sea of quick completions. So, Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. Are you both familiar with this game?
I have played it. I don't know about X, but I have played it.
It's a visual novel, so it's on my short list. That short list just keeps getting ironically longer. But I am familiar with it.
Yeah, if you've played Late Shift, that's Shift with an F. If you've played that is kind of the same concept. It's kind of like a movie,
yes,
is my understanding.
Kind of, yeah. It's an FMV game where the whole game is filmed using real people, real actors, should I say, on movie film, as opposed to animated. It's a weird game, and it's one I quite like, but it's quite slow. Basically, the setup is that you are playing a psychotherapist who is picking up the patients of a predecessor who has died in mysterious circumstances. And you're questioning each of these patients about their conditions and their histories, but also trying to uncover what happened to your predecessor, the titular Dr. Decker.
Who's the therapist? Are you the therapist?
You are the therapist. And
okay. I was going to say, there's going to be some twist at the end that the psychotherapist was a psycho.
He doesn't know, Elroy. That's the point
psycho
of the segment.
Who is the rapist. That would have been a good twist at the end. And the hints were there all along. They just had to find that space between therapists.
It's entirely possible that there is a very, very shocking twist, and I'm expecting one, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm about a third of the way through the game. Basically, what you do is you interrogate each of the patients/suspects, and each of them has got like a weird condition, but they're kind of like superhero conditions. It's all kind of a bit weird. One of them thinks that I'm trying to remember now. One of them thinks that he gets an extra day in the week, right? So he basically gets to repeat an extra day every so often and can do extra things in that day. And another one, I think they can manipulate what people do. I can't remember.
You sure do remember a lot about it for having played only 2 hours and 42 minutes.
The thing is, what you do is you have to pick from a series of predefined questions, okay, much like a lot of visual novels.
I was just going to say classic visual novel.
Yeah, dialogue choices. However, you can also type your own questions in, right? Which is, hilarious when you start typing silly things like, Are you wearing any underwear? Not that they respond to those sorts of things.
That'd be impressive if they somehow had, AI responses for everything.
They have a lot of responses to a lot of questions, but unfortunately, those questions have to be vaguely related to.
You didn't download the soft porn DLC that came with this. Or?
No, it's obviously the first thing that you do when presented with.
Of course, what else would you do?
But yeah, what you can do is type in all these questions. Unfortunately, you do have to reveal all of the possible responses in the game, so it is quite arduous. And the best done, obviously, with a guide to hand that lists out all of the literally hundreds of questions that you can ask people. I don't know if you've noticed the latest achievement I got on it was 250 responses. So I've asked 250 questions in the 2 hours that I've played out of 10 hours. So it's quite slow going. I actually quite like the kind of concept. It's a neat concept and quite different. It's just a bit of a slog, so it's best played in chunks. The other reason I haven't really done much with it, and the only reason I've done anything with it more than just diving it, which I think I did year before last, is that it is quite a good utility game. And by utility game, I mean that I tend to use it for silly contests involving alphabets because it's an I game. And every time an I game appears on any of our silly challenges or contests, I tend to pull it out and play, interrogate one of the new witnesses and unlock an achievement along the way, basically. And it kind of works for that because it's good to kind of come in and out of. The problem is that by doing that, I forget, as you've noticed, pretty much everything about it in the interim.
Your experience with it is much more in-depth than mine because you and I are actually pretty similar. We both have 8 achievements in it. I have slightly more gamer score in it because I have different achievements than you. But
show off.
Yeah,
right. Elroy with his gamer score.
I'm not really bragging here because it's only by 105 points. So I have 235 to your paltry 130. But I don't have much experience with this game in the sense that. But let me back up. If you look at our stats, it's kind of funny because you have 250 responses found, and that was an achievement. I have 41. You have 261 questions asked. I have 1,060 questions asked.
What the hell?
And so what happened here is I thought this was a really easy game. So hypothetically, of course, I might have assigned this one to someone in the SAF who I then hooked the keyboard up for, and who just sat there and typed one letter and asked that question, and then hit one letter and asked that question until the 1,000 questions asked achievement popped. And that's about all I could tell you about it. Is that that you can do a shortcut on the 1,000 questions asked by just typing one letter and then hitting enter, and then you can
and you get the canned response of I'm afraid I can't really answer that question.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's no fun.
I can't really tell you anything about that.
Yeah, well, this took 5 hours to get that far. So,
well, you're halfway there then, Elroy.
Yeah, there's probably some playing on the phone in between there. And, yeah. Anyway, so I can't really add anything to this game other than what I saw from afar.
So what you're saying, Chewie, is that you don't necessarily have abandonment issues. You're just a user. You use the game when you need it.
Yeah, I'd say I'm pacing myself. I'd say come back to me next year and it will probably have been completed, but in fits and starts.
Yeah, it looks like you started in July of 19, then you came back to it in October 19, and then December 19, and then May 20. Oh, March 20, and then May 20, and now...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're a little overdue, man. A little overdue.
It's true. Maybe if the next gamer tag in February has an I in it, that will be when I come back to it.
All right. So, moving right along.
Yep.
Elroy.
Yes, sir.
It is your turn. My southern friend.
Oh, gosh.
I would like to know... Well, actually, let me. This game ticks all of the Elroy boxes.
Oh, God.
It is, by all accounts, a horrible game. It is Connect required, and it has critters galore. And you haven't finished it. It's 3-4 hour completion. It just ticks all the Elroy boxes, basically. Hot garbage with a Connect and critters. I am, of course, talking about Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked, Why the heck has Elroy OMJ abandoned Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwreck?
Oh, gosh. Oh, yes, this game.
Might as well be called Elroy and the Chipmunks. Come on.
Yeah, no, you are correct. This one does hit all the boxes. As you can see, I have gathered, I've collected 6 of the 9 achievements and worth 600 gamer score out of, and 700 TA. So, these are real high ratio achievements.
That's what I mean. It's not even difficult stuff.
Now, okay, so what happened on this one was, this was one of the ones I played in August. You'll see that there's a whole lot of dancing games on my tag from August of 2020, and Chewie definitely knows why, because that was the genre chosen by myself in my head-to-head battle with Triple Triad 777, who I am not... I remember... about midway through the month, he was posting messages in his TA feed about how much his feet hurt. Because, good Lord, that guy, he just... I don't remember the exact numbers. Perhaps Chewie can tell you. But he definitely took the dancing challenge very seriously. I thought that I had enough crap games such as this one in the warehouse that I could topple him easily.
And by you mean the Rhino, right?
Yeah, well, the Rhino does work pretty good on several of these, yeah, especially Alvin and the Chipmunks, because all you gotta do is really start it off, just get a couple of them right, and then put him in the chair. So my feet weren't hurting as much as his were, I don't think, but this one I stopped because all the easy achievements kind of ran out. You have to, basically, after the 6 achievements that I got, you have to have stars at that point to buy everything, okay? So... you get stars on the songs, if I remember right. I think it's, I'm kind of looking at it. You have to 5-star every song. And so you have to end up getting 207 stars in order to get the next achievement that I was missing. And clearly I wasn't 3-starring every game, or every song, or 5-starring every song, because I wasn't dancing half of them. So then it was like I'd have to start over from square one. And then the other 2 achievements are you have to complete the story, so you have to finish all the songs. And then the one that's the most challenging one that actually has a 2 ratio, I know, really, a 2 ratio, I know, has a 2 ratio, is for getting 5 stars on all the songs. And there's a couple of them that are kind of troublesome from the guide. The La Bamba apparently is really bad, and the Kids in America is really bad too. But I remember this game fondly. It was fun while it lasted, except for they just really didn't program a whole lot of moves into it. It felt like you were just doing the same moves over and over, and I lost interest in a hurry, and that's when I switched over to my alter ego, the Rhino, and because I was just doing the same thing over and over again, and I don't know about that 3 to 4 completion estimate. I guess that's theoretically possible, but
I feel like that's if you dance for 3 hours.
Probably, because at this point I got to go back and redo all the songs that I didn't quite hit when I wasn't actually dancing, and the other problem that you run into is that there are these little cartoonish chipmunks on the screen, which are critters, and I appreciate
they just
that.
distracted you, right?
Right.
Not just any cartoonish chipmunks. Alvin, Simon, and Theodore.
That's true. Yes, it's accurate. They look a little different than what I remember them looking like. They look like they've been 3D'd and kind of modernized into the modern world, but wearing all these kind of interesting garbs that you might see young people wearing today. Is that the nice way of putting it? And they have
trendy.
Swag.
I think trendy
they have
is the
swag. Let's just say that. They have swag. And so, but the problem also is that these chipmunks, they don't have the longest arms and legs. Like the legs just kind of come right out of the torso, and the torso keeps continuing down to the ground, and because of the tail, and then the arms aren't very distinguished. So it's actually and they're wearing big sweaters unless you change it. You can put a wife beater on one, which I of course did.
Of course you did that.
And I do vaguely remember that. And that was out of both personal interest, but also because the freaking sweaters are big, and so you can't even really see their arms. And so it's like you have
exposing the poor chipmunks.
Yeah, well, it's so that I can follow them, all right? Because they're wearing these clunky clothes and their feet aren't really moving much, so you're just basically shifting side to side, and you got to throw your hands up every once in a while and then do a slow spin. And oh my gosh, it was just not great. It wasn't the best dancing game I've ever seen. I don't remember. It seems like you couldn't even skip the cutscenes. I mean, it was just had all the wrong things going for it. So while on the surface, it does seem like a game that I would be greatly interested in, I haven't. So if it gives you any indication, on my friends list, so if this is such an easiest game to play and everything, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people on my friends list who've played this. As you might suspect, Triple Triad 777 got the completion on it because, he was just unstoppable in the month of August on dance games. But Redemption Denied as well. No shocker there. But I was a little surprised. Nobody else has the completion. So if this is such an easy game, why are 9 of my 11 friends unable to get them all? It looks like most people stopped where I stopped. Then a few other tryhards like Big L, he almost went all the way. He couldn't get he's on the list of ones that couldn't do the 5-star on every song.
Is that a Big L muffed completion?
It is, actually. He couldn't do the 5 stars on that. So maybe I'll ask him about that next time we chat. And a couple others. But anyway, so nothing against the game. Other than the tracking's terrible, and it was just my initial approach, and I didn't feel like investing that much more time into it to make up for the star. I should have read the achievement list before I started so that I could, not have to go back and backtrack. But I was just focused on getting more dance points at that stage, and so this was too much of an investment.
It does look like the 3 to 4 hour estimate is by no means a consensus. If you look at the chart, you've got 6 estimates for 3 to 4 hours, but you've got 3 estimates 4 to 5, 2 estimates 5 to 6, 4 estimates 6 to 8. So it's a big spread.
2 to 12.
Yeah.
2 to 10 to 12.
Yeah, can we talk about the real rock stars, though, with the 2 to 3 hour estimate?
No kidding, man. What are they doing? I didn't realize there's so many professional dancers on TA, man. What's up with that? So
more like professional chipmunks.
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Please, won't just someone think of the chipmunks?
Yeah. So anyway, is there any chance I go back and play this? Well, at this point, the TAs. I mean, I would hate to go through.
You'll get 300 TAD just by wrapping it up, and that's pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's pretty good for the amount of time that this game takes, because I do have some with 5 stars. I just don't know that I have it in me to do the 5-star on all the songs. I would hate to do all the songs and just get the 130-ish, 140-ish TA, and then get to the final part and not be able to conquer Kids in America or La Bamba.
I feel like Elroy has nightmares of Kids in America and La Bamba now.
Are they all chipmunked as well? Are they all like, we're the kids in America?
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. Oh, it's so annoying, man. Yeah, that gets old in a hurry, man. They are definitely singing the songs in their own interpretations, and they're all very high-pitched, and that's the story on that one. Why I stopped it and everything. So
sounds like that one was properly abandoned, but might be returned to.
Yeah, I could fire it up. I'm not sure how far I am from the stars. I may fire it up just to look to see what my star count is, and if it's just dreadful, I'll
you could just keep chipping away at it, really.
Well, next up is Chewie. What am I doing? What am I talking about?
Well, Mr. X the Hero, Mr. RPG. Mr. I like long, complex RPG games. Well-renowned. Final Fantasies, your Kingdom Hearts. Well, how about your Fables, huh? Tell me, Mr. RPG, why is Fable 3 currently sitting at 14 achievements and maybe about, I'd estimate about a third of the story complete?
All right, so... I'm not dodging the question. The first Fable on original Xbox, I haven't played the Anniversary, but I played the crap out of that. I owned like 2 games on Xbox. Fable was one of them. Loved it. Fable 2 came out. It wasn't as good. Have you guys played the 3 games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there one that was like free games of gold once upon a time?
2 and 3.
2 and 3, yeah.
No, and Anniversary.
And Anniversary, yeah.
Yeah. They all are.
Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that I've ever played a Fable, so never mind. I'm thinking of something else, and I don't know what it was.
All right, so I don't know. I got the second one. That was one of the very few games that I pre-ordered and bought full price at launch back in the day, because that came out. When was that? 2000, like late 2008, I think. That was freshman year of college, so like I was poor. So if I got a game $60 at launch, that was a big deal. So I was looking like hella forward to it, and so it just wasn't as good. It didn't suck me in as much as the first one, but I still enjoyed it. I got decently far in the second one, and then Fable 3, just, I don't know, man. I saw the trailers for it when it came out, and I'm like, it looks too different. I'm not enjoying it. And ultimately, the short version of the story is that I started playing it, and I didn't like it. So I just abandoned it because I didn't enjoy it. But there is more to the story, actually. My brother forced me to play it because he's like, oh, you're gonna like it, and there's like DLC for it, and he like bought the DLC, and we transferred it over. He's like, oh, you got to do this, and you got to make it this far, and then we'll play the DLC together, and the whole thing's co-op, and it's great. And this is, when I was a fledgling achievement hunter. He's like, yeah, I can help you get a bunch of the gamer score, and I just didn't like the game. And at this point, I don't even remember what I didn't like about it. It's just one of those, like, you've held the grudge for so long that you don't know why, but you continue holding it. I did not enjoy Fable 3, and I don't think I played it for very long. I think I only made it through, like, 2 dungeons.
Yeah, well, I think you like I say, you did about a third of the story, I would estimate.
Oh, really?
You got up to the point where the main character has been banished from the
Okay, I do remember
court,
that, actually.
And then is kind of building up some followers to claim the throne from his or her evil brother. And you got Major Swift, who's the kind of army captain, to join your cause after a major battle with some what do they call hollow men. That's pretty, that's at the point where I say the story starts to kind of pick up.
Go figure.
But I would say that I think you're probably not entirely unique in your feelings, in that Fable 3 is considered maybe a weaker point in the series by quite a few people, myself included. And I'm kind of with you in that I adored Fable 1. I quite liked Fable 2, and I thought it was decent, but I felt like it was kind of lacking in some of the areas that made the first one great. And then Fable 3, a lot of the magic, I think, was lost for me as well. And also I was kind of wise at that point to Peter Molyneux, who is the guy that created these games. I was wise to his tricks, which was that he tended to oversell a game and what he was trying to achieve in the game during the development. And then when it released, it tended to not include the vast majority of the promises that he made. Like, the famous one is that you could plant a seed in one of the Fable games, and then as the game progressed, that seed would grow into a tree. So you would watch it, grow and develop. And that was never on the table.
That's not a thing.
No, it's not a thing.
You did remind me of one other thing that, again, it's been years since I played this now, but there was like some weird gating that I didn't like. Like, it called itself an open world game, but it really wasn't. It was pretty scripted. I remember, like, I just wanted to go explore. It was you can't go explore. You need, like, a key or something. Is that ringing any bells?
Well, yeah, because you get kind of banished at the beginning, your freedom to explore is quite limited because you're persona non gratis for the beginnings of the game. And then once you've built up a bit of a following and you, go back to the city to reclaim the throne, or to claim the throne, rather, at that point the game kind of opens up to you.
Okay.
That is quite deep into the game. My big problem with this game is the structure and the way, and kind of that gating is part of that. I think it's a very weirdly structured game. If you'd got further in it, you would have seen that, I think, and probably disliked it even more. So maybe you were right to drop it. It's okay, but I have problems with it.
All right, so I need y'all's help on this. So obviously I know nothing about Fable. I've never played it, never had any interest in playing it. So you keep talking about Fable 1, 2, and 3 and how Fable 3 was kind of a letdown and all this and that.
Kind of a letdown.
So what is going on with this series? It seems like they're just kind of cashing checks at this point. We got Fable 2 pub games, Fable coin golf, Fable Heroes, Fable the Journey, Fable Fortune, Fable Anniversary, Fable this, Fable that. Surely you can't say that Fable 3 was a low point when you have a game called Fable 2 pub games and Fable coin golf on the series, if you will.
I think you would actually quite enjoy the Fable games, Elroy, because they are very funny. They have a lot of humour, quite British humour.
I was gonna say, it's very much just dumb British humour that is right up Elroy's alley.
Yeah, and that element of it, I think, is where the game really shines, more so than the kind of RPG and gameplay elements. The fighting, the magic, none of it is particularly mind-blowing or great. But the kind of story, the world, the characters, and the humour are really quite well loved. And I think that it rode on those coattails quite a lot, and everyone was kind of anticipating the next Fable installments because it's a nice, fun, friendly world with lots of kind of colour in it and humour. So I think, and yes, it's a Microsoft property, so of course they were milking the heck out of it.
Well, I'm going to probably get my feet wet with this game. I actually have plans to play some Fable because I just fired up Microsoft Jigsaw, and so you can download a Fable celebration pack of some sort, and it has fewer pieces than all the other puzzles when you are doing the harder puzzles. So I'm going to get my introduction to Fable through Microsoft Jigsaw. So I'm not sure where that rates in comparison to Fable 2 pub games and Fable coin golf.
Not thinking you're...
No.
I don't think you're fabling it up
that's not the experience.
I'll let you know. Stay tuned.
I'm looking forward to the new one personally. I don't know about you, X. If you would go back into the world.
I will jump back into it. Playground games, they know how to make an open world. That's for damn sure. So,
and I think that they can manage expectations a bit better than Peter Molyneux used to be able to.
Yeah, I like that. Like, hey, it exists, so you're not getting any details. We'll tell you when it's closer. I mean, we saw what happened with Halo, so it's probably good that they're just it. We'll get there. How do I delicately word my extreme disappointment for you, Mr. Chewbacca, that you have abandoned this particular game, which would be Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2, which has a Wookiee in it, so... Mr. 560 gamer score and 33 out of 58 achievements. Why the heck did you abandon a Star Wars game?
Did I abandon it? Did I really?
Yes, I think you did.
Yeah, it's pretty clear you did.
Well, okay. I mean, I did actually complete the game, or rather beat the game.
The main storyline?
The main story is complete.
Okay.
There is no actual... I think I did it on... Is it on easy?
Easy difficulty, and you chose the light side ending. Oh, no, you do have both.
Yeah, it's one of those reload the end checkpoint and you can do the alternate. It's one of those terrible decision-based games where nothing you do in the game makes any difference apart from that final choice. Are you a baddie or a goodie?
You did come back the next day and throw some bowling balls, apparently.
Yeah, I see that, yep. I like Elroy has this game pulled up, too.
Yeah.
So I believe, and I might be wrong in thinking that particular achievement, and again, we're coming back to silly challenges, the bowling ball one, I believe, maybe appeared in... I want to say Warboats, the last iteration of Warboats on TA.
Well, that's weird because you did a second achievement for cleanup too. So was that in a separate contest as well?
Which one?
I don't know. You beat the game, and then all of a sudden the next day you logged back in and did two achievements for cleanup. You did
because that's the one I was going for. That's I missed the opportunity.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you had one later in the game on Warboats.
Yes, so the strike achievement is for killing 3 stormtroopers with a bowling ball. And what I'd done is I think when I came back to the game, I realized I'd actually gone past that point or somehow fudged it. So I had to complete the game, then go back and get to that point where I could redo that achievement.
Gotcha.
The reason I haven't gone back to it since is because, and I want to, and I think I can, and I think it's very completable, probably. A lot of people have completed it, relatively speaking. It's not a very good game.
This sounds familiar.
This is coming as a Star Wars fan. I think both the Star Wars Force Unleashed games they're okay kind of action adventure hack and slash games. They're storyline in the first one is acceptable. It kind of ticks all the boxes, and it brings in, the main characters. Darth Vader shows up, and a few kind of ancillary characters as well. Although I do have a problem with that first one, is in that the first level is you literally massacring Wookiees, which you can do.
I remember that, actually.
You can do it infinitely as well. They are infinite spawning Wookiees, so you can spend the first level literally massacring thousands and thousands of Wookiees, which
Your poor family.
It's just terrible.
Are they the normal Wookiees or the baby Wookiees?
They are the fully grown Wookiees, of which there is only one kind. I know what you're trying to get at, and I won't rise to it. But in the first one, you are playing the secret apprentice of Darth Vader. Okay, I'm getting nerdy on you because you picked a Star Wars game, so you have to listen to this now.
I would expect nothing less. For the record, I played the first one, and I rather enjoyed it. I didn't play the second one.
So the first one, it is good enough, and it's good enough because it's an okay story. You're playing this secret apprentice of Darth Vader, who's obviously being raised to believe in the dark side and the power of the evil side of the Force, and work for the Empire. But then along the way realizes that maybe his thinking is a little bit flawed, ends up helping out the Resistance, and then at the very end of the game has to then make this choice of whether he betrays his new allies, the Resistance, to rejoin Darth Vader, or see the error in his ways and join the Resistance and strike against Darth Vader. And in doing so, if I'm remembering correctly, spoiler alert, sacrifice himself. That's great. And the fun of that first one is the kind of hack and slash and the powers element, because you are kind of this overpowered Jedi type who can, it's the Force powers. It's picking people up by the neck using your Force grip and then throwing them into a laser field. And
I remember the lightning. The lightning was cool.
Force lightning, being able to basically kind of fly and do all of these crazy things and massacre, hundreds of Wookiees and stormtroopers using your powers. That's fun. It is a fun game. And the problem with the second one, I think, is that it just adds absolutely nothing in any sense whatsoever. It feels like a bit of a cash-in because the first one was actually then very popular. So they kind of then felt like they needed to rush out a second one. And the story in the second one is just abysmal, nonsensical nonsense. It basically retcons what makes the first one good, because it does this terrible thing of making you discover that, again, spoiler alert, the character you played in the first one is only one of many clones. So, we've got this problem in that we need to make a sequel to this game that's suddenly very popular, and we kind of need to carry on the story, but we killed off the main character. So What can we do about that? I know. Let's pretend that he's just one of a load of clones. So we'll just activate another of his clones, even though it's not the same guy, right? It's the same character, but with none of the memories, none of the backstory from that first game. Just so you can bring back the same actor and continue the story. I think there is a weird thing where he somehow has this bleeding effect, like kind of in the Assassin's Creed games, where he kind of half knows the memories in the background of the original version from the first game, but not fully. And it's a really short, really kind of thrown together game in comparison to the first one. And it really, really just overplays some elements of it, like the kind of faux romance he has with this female character that again was in the first game, but they just really, really push it to the limit of acceptability. I think I remember playing it and just kind of resenting the whole thing and just thinking this is just a really cheap, forced cash grab of a sequel compared to the first one. I think quite a lot of people like it, but I really think I'd rather it didn't exist.
Gotcha. It's another one is on my short list because I did enjoy the first one and I got the second one Games with Gold, so I would like to go back eventually, or not go back, but go back to the series, I guess.
I feel like every kind of interaction that the main character has in the game doesn't feel it doesn't feel earned. He hasn't gone through the journey that the character went through in the first game. He's just a clone that just turns up and you're supposed to somehow care about. Just because he looks the same.
Gotcha. So my biggest question here, There is an achievement called Don't Let the Wookiee Win for defeating Han Solo and Chewie. And that's part of the DLC, which you haven't played. And it's like, how did you not play the DLC featuring you? They didn't give you like a free review code or something of your own DLC?
No, I do own the DLC. I got it, long ago in one of the many May the 4th related sales that they do for Star Wars games. The simple answer to that, and it is a simple answer, is that I'm probably saving it for something special.
All right, we can.
We're famous around the community for hitting specific milestones and trying to use fitting achievements for those milestones.
Oh no, I hope I didn't just ruin something. No one listen to this.
I have never made any of those big plans. I've never hit a milestone with any kind of special achievement. But I feel like if I ever make it to 1 million, let's say, I feel like that would probably be a good way to go. I haven't locked it in, but I'm kind of sitting on it thinking that that's probably going to be a thing.
So this seems like another one where it wasn't quite abandoned, just sort of temporarily tossed aside.
Yeah, I think I got from it what I wanted. I finished the main story. I got my warboat achievement or whatever it was. And then I kind of thought, I will complete it when something gives me a good reason to. And that thing hasn't yet come around.
Gotcha.
And if I was going to play a Star Wars game, I would much rather play one of the new ones, which has also been kind of sitting there waiting to be played.
All right. Well, moving right along. Chewie, why don't you tell Elroy his second game?
Oh, dang, yeah. I forgot. I ain't gone twice.
I know. We got like another half hour with just Elroy. Oh, man.
So, Mr. Roy.
Hit me with it.
I know how much of a fan you are of bro shooters.
I do like a good bro shooter.
You do like a good bro shooter. You're a bro. You like shooting.
Gears of Bro. Yeah.
Bros of War. Yeah.
Yeah. Bros of Two.
It's funny you should mention Bros of Two because you say that, and yet I can see that Bros of Two, The Devil's Cartel, you have got 19 achievements in, and you've got up to completing chapter 5 of, I think, maybe 9 or 10. So you're about halfway through that campaign, which you have abandoned now for 2 years.
Those poor bros, they're just hiding in cover.
I know, that's right.
Please tell me, why? Why have these bros been abandoned?
Man, that's tough, man. I do love a good bro shooter. I do. I've got it pulled up here. You're right. I didn't realize it's been 2 years now.
Closer to 3, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
June 2018.
Yeah, that's something, man. That's well, let me see if I can remember here. This one, I was playing it and I was enjoying it. I was missing a lot of the achievements along the way. I think is really what it came down to. So I can't remember why I started. I guess because I like the original Bros of War. Or
Bros of Two.
Bros of Two, not Bros of War. Yeah, I've abandoned many of those games. But the I don't know. There's a bunch of cumulative achievements that I haven't quite got around to, and it seems like I spent a good 30 minutes destroying cars, and I couldn't get the destroyed cars one to pop, and 500 targets killed while in cover. It says that I should have popped those by now. Like if you look through the walkthrough, it's like, they generally go in order kind of a thing. And so when you're going through this, it's like, you should have probably done this by now. And so I popped the first 2, and then I missed the next 4, and then I got the next one, and then I got the next one, and then I missed one, then I got 2, then I missed 2, then I got 1. It's just real inconsistent. Got 3, missed 2, got 1, 2, missed 1, got 1, and then that just stopped. I was just like, this is
the thing is with this game is that I believe, if I remember correctly, you do have to complete it twice, once on normal and once on the hardest difficulty. Mm-hmm. So you would get those cumulative stuff, eventually. You don't have to worry about it.
No one's going to play it twice.
Matching the walkthrough.
Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like I was missing everything. Like, I'm like, I should be doing much better in this game by now. And it just wasn't happening for me. And then if you pull up, I know, I guess I did do that one. Yep. Then I missed another one, and then I got another one. And another 2, and no.
So basically, you were only playing this game for achievements, not for your love for bros.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So I think also there's this phenomenon when you're reading a walkthrough where you see the achievement listed there, and then you're starting the next section, and then you just keep scrolling, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta play this thing forever before I get my next fix here. And so I wasn't patient enough. It looks like I put it down when I had to go through 6 whole chapters without getting anything.
God forbid.
So, and then if you go the next chapter after that, there's 7 more chapters, and then you get one. And then after that, it's another 5, and then it's just like they became a lot more infrequent. Not that they were infrequent for me, because I was missing them all. So it was just a disaster from the start. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I don't know.
This is like I'd say 8 to 10 hour maximum.
That's something I don't think it's known for being a long game.
It's a short game.
Yeah, like I have no idea why I kept missing everything. I think it was also the background. Like you had to search for some things, if I'm not mistaken, and I couldn't get it to. I couldn't find things because the backgrounds was getting lost in them. I don't know. Yeah,
I think you're overthinking this game. This game is a very, very stupid, dumb, fun.
Just
co-op
go through the
shooter.
Level and shoot stuff.
Yeah, literally. If you went through the levels and just shot everything, you would probably get 80 to 90% of the achievements without even thinking.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I read ahead in the TA guide and I found out about them like raping a Gila monster or something. I mean, they raped a panda in the first one, so why? Why not?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to put it past them. So I didn't want to see a poor Gila monster get a bad way or anything. So yeah. The mysterious panda scene from the first one. That's it. Scarred X.
These games are all co-op games. Did you play it with anyone or
no? I
just him and the rhino.
Yeah, but this is in the days before. I mean, I still don't do boosting too terribly often, but this is definitely the days before I did it really at all. And so no, I never played this with anybody ever. So it looks like it would probably be the way to go, because maybe I would have missed half to 2/3 of the freaking achievements that I'm supposed to pop along the way here. Yeah. So
well, one of the achievements you haven't earned is to complete a mission with a human partner. So.
Other than the intro, I saw that.
Yeah. So it's just highlighting the fact that you have no friends and no one likes you, really.
Yeah, it's called Army of Two when you play.
I'm Army of One, baby. Yeah, So it sounds like I need to log in as a guest account and then knock out an easy stage if I'm capable of doing that. But yeah, this is one that I probably, if I went back to it, I'd have to relearn all the controls for, because there's all kinds of controls.
Just shoot. Trigger.
Right trigger.
Yeah.
Shoot gun. Left trigger.
Doors.
Aim.
Shoot. But yeah, that's a good one. I wish I could remember exactly. I just remember getting really frustrated with it, and I think it's because of the achievement thing, like the missing half of them, and then seeing that there was like a long drought ahead of me, so I just kind of like packed it in. And
I think it's been long enough that if you went back and you just let that stuff go, you just sat back and enjoyed the ride, you might be pleasantly surprised.
Well, you might be right. I may have to check this one out again.
Not saying it's a good game. It's a terrible. I mean, it's.
Oh,
a very,
no, but I was enjoying it. I mean,
it's dumb. It's very dumb.
Well, I mean, what do you expect when you buy a game called, Bro of Two, The Devil's Cartels?
Oh, I just have one question. If it's a third-person shooter with 2 bros, does that make it a 6th-person shooter?
That's right. Three people per.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the last game on our new segment, which
is going longer than I thought.
It's going longer than I thought, but I mean, hopefully is entertaining enough.
That's right.
Elroy?
I'll edit out at least half.
Yeah, he's gonna edit out. He's gonna make it sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks, and I'll speed it up.
Oh, that would be fantastic. No, please don't do that. Please don't do that. All right, Elroy, tell me for our finale, what game do I have to talk about?
Well, I tried to pick one for you that, in case you wanted to go back, that I thought you would derive some form of pleasure in it, and the game has sticks and balls in it, and the game is Stickball, a dodgeball adventure. And the reason I chose this for you is because I know that you are the retired sort and that you have no interest usually in going back and playing games. But I think that if you should revisit this one, because I know you and Kelsey like to play games together. And this is a game where you can play local co-op. And it seems like it would be fun. I didn't play with anybody, but I didn't play as a soul. But it seems like you would, y'all might enjoy revisiting this game. So anyhow, but right now you stand at half the gamer score, so you got 520. It looks like you just ran through it and played it on easy and beat the storyline, and then you never went back to any of the other difficulties or anything like that. But you clocked in a massive 3 hours of game time in it, and so not too terribly bad. You were really good at catching shots for some reason, so you're really good at doing shots.
Damn straight. All right, so I actually, you know me, man. What can I say? So I bought this one probably on a sale, probably for points or for GTAS back in those dark days. But it just kind of sat because it wasn't one that I was actively, like, I didn't want to play it. You know what I mean? I bought it for a purpose. But then Kelsey was going through my games because she's like, we need a new game to play. So I said, go ahead, find one. I got 500 to choose from. Take your time. And she picked this one. She's like, oh, a dodgeball game could be fun. And ultimately, like, it has the round circle arena. It wasn't at all what we thought it was going to be. But you're absolutely right. We started playing it. We had a good time. My first maybe... Like, I have my list up now. I'm trying to figure it out. Maybe, like, 5 achievements we did co-op. And then the campaign or story mode, whatever you want to call it, it just got kind of difficult, even on easy mode. So she bailed out and wasn't interested. So I tried doing it solo, and I made it through, like, 3 or 4 more rounds, getting, like, the bonus mission or the Easter egg, whatever, and then going through. And then it got hard. Yeah. Even on easy mode, it just got difficult.
The stick got hard. I got you.
So I was like, well, what if I don't do, the extra objective and just try and, beat the opponent? I couldn't even do that. So it was one of those that if I don't just uninstall this game, if I don't just put it down, I'm going to break a controller. And I have, plenty of stock to go through, but they're expensive, man. So basically, this was a self-aware rage quit before it turned into a screaming temper tantrum kind of rage quit. I feel like I went out on a high note. I did enjoy the game. Kelsey and I did actually reinstall it later and go back and just play a couple matches just, with the computer. But I don't know. It wasn't one that we stuck with. That was fun. Let's try it again later. And then we did, and okay, now I remember why I uninstalled that. And I never actually did go back to the story mode because I know myself better. That if I was getting that frustrated, it's all going to come back. I don't like being angry.
Well, you spoke of the difficulty of it, but yet you actually have there's several, all kinds of achievements you're missing, and then you're missing about 10 achievements, and so you actually have the third most challenging achievement in the game. It has the third highest ratio, which is for throwing 20 lucky stingers. Man, that took me forever. And I played this game for 8 hours and 7 minutes. You've played it for 2 hours and 46 minutes, and we both have the same number of stingers at 22. So I don't know.
I remember
you're doing that
one.
Right?
There was a way. I'm clicking on the guide now. One of the guides, did I thumb it up? Yes, I did. It just tells you there's a quick way to boost this, basically. So I did. I just boosted against myself. Look at that. There's a comment from Big L. The second player also counts. So if you can time it right, basically, you can just get one on controller 1 and then another one on controller 2 and just back and forth. So I had good luck with that one and catching. And yeah, you're right. I did shamelessly grind out a couple achievements after I abandoned the campaign.
Yeah. Well, these dodgeball games, it takes real tenacity to be number one in the world and gamer score on dodgeball genre. I'm just saying.
I almost picked a dodgeball game for one of yours. Like, I hit a wall basically, and I quit because I am a quitter, and I didn't feel like persevering. It was a mutual abandonment, and my hard drive space thanks me for it.
All right. Well,
So
it's just really what I heard was it's Kelsey's fault. She bailed on you. And,
what? Yeah, Kelsey was like, "I don't like this game. Uninstall it." That's the real version.
Yeah, that was nice of you to protect her like that.
I try, man. I try.
So you've completed this game, Mr. Elroy. I see.
I have. Yeah, I have.
Is it? And I have only just started it and then walked away, as with so many other things. Is it worth coming back to? Because how do you have a dodgeball adventure? What makes this more than just a boring?
You know what?
Game?
I'm going to interrupt Elroy though. I will say. We invited a friend over once, pre-COVID, of course, when we were allowed to have friends over. And the three of us played it, and it actually was a lot of fun, just a three-player party. I think there's, 6 characters in the round? Mm-hmm. So we just randomized, it ended up being like 3 versus, 0 or 2v1. But it actually was a lot of fun as a party game. So there is definitely appeal there if you are able to do that.
I fired this back up when I decided to go for the number 1 in gamerscore in the genre of dodgeball in the world. So this was a loose end I needed to tie up. And so I remember the palpable excitement that I incurred when I believe I beat it on all-star difficulty, and somehow it stacked on the higher difficulty or vice versa. And I wasn't expecting that one. I was like, man, I got to go through this again, because I was really pleased as punch when I got the first one. And then all of a sudden it popped the second one. I was like, oh my God.
Bloop.
I was like, oh. So if you look at it, you see that I popped both of the difficulty-based ones on the 24th of October. So I don't know if I accidentally chose the harder difficulty or if what was going on. If that was just an error on the Xbox. But and then that automatically popped the other one. So it's like, all 3 of them just kind of popped all at once, and because you get it for the last characters for beating the highest difficulty, and so it was quite a rush there, because I thought I had to go through a whole other playthrough, and bam, all 3 of them just like that, and so that was pretty cool. So I did it like that. That's the thing I remember most about the game.
It's fun. It got too tough for me, so I bailed out. But it's not a bad game by any means. It is good at what it sets out to do. But I gave up. That brings us to the end of the pilot episode of Abandonment Issues. Let us know what you guys think in, Discord or comments or however the heck you guys give feedback. Yeah, any closing words from you guys?
I would like, before the next time we do this, to see that, Elroy, you have finished the story in Army of Two.
Ooh, challenge mode. I like it. Oh,
man. Okay, I'll if I can get ahead in the count on my G-test obligations, then I'll explore those. That is an opportunity, yeah. Actually, it actually would fit in, because I am currently, boy, I've been sitting here grinding bombs and blocks on Bomberman for days, and so then I could actually use my 360 because it doesn't knock me off of the Xbox One. So yeah,
and you get the catharsis doable of shooting hundreds of guys in the face.
For sure,
and getting easy achievements.
At least it's not shoot 1 million people in the face, because who would do that for an achievement?
Right? Yeah, totally not.
1 million
Bomber
for
man.
anything. Yeah, 1 million of anything. Right?
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to us ramble. If we're being honest, I had fun. I hope you guys did, and I hope listeners did as well. So. Yeah, I will see you around right after I tell you the top 3 domestic cat breeds. Number 3, Maine Coon. Number 2, Bengal. And number 1, Siamese.
Chewie?
I haven't prepared one of these. I forgot that we did them.
Oh, man. Well, I got the top 3 posters that I have hanging on my wall that are all from a Nintendo Power. Number 3, F-Zero. Number 2, Mortal Kombat. And number 1, Metroid. They all came from a Nintendo Power. They had those little fold-out posters.
Cool.
No? Anybody?
Nope, nobody.
No.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.
See you.
Check this out.
Hello, I'm Wakapeil, welcoming you to Waka's Weird Wonders. Ever played Mr. Pumpkin Adventures? You probably have if you've been chasing Gamerscore for a while. Cotton Games' surreal point-and-click was one of the infamous quick completions back in 2017, before the floodgates of easy Gamerscore games opened and flooded the Xbox with super quick and easy gamerscore. In 2019, Cotton Games' latest release on Xbox, Alien Cruise, is neither quick nor easy by today's standards, with 13 achievements worth 1000 gamerscore, 2000 TA and a completion estimate of 4 to 5 hours. Alien Cruise is a bizarre shoot-'em-up with cartoony hand-drawn graphics and wild variety of environments and enemies. It is no walk in the park, but it is fairly easy by shoot-'em-up standards. And if you are good at them, Alien Cruise should be an easy completion with no missable achievements as long as you do not skip the ending video. You can technically miss the complete a level without taking damage achievement, but it is super easy in the tutorial level and has a ratio of 1.0. Chances are you have Alien Cruise in your collection, as it is frequently on sale and bundled with the far more popular but way worse Mr. Pumpkin adventure. 156 of 1250 gamers on TA has the completion, which I found a surprisingly low completion rate. It is an enjoyable shoot 'em up, but it has some technical flaws, the biggest issue being an end game boss being practically impossible if you don't get to it with an upgraded ship, as invisible attacks will kill you before you can defeat the boss if you restart the fight from the checkpoint. The game also frequently crashed while I played while loading a level. This barely set me back, as I could just reboot the game and choose the level again, but it is annoying. It might have been the expectations set from Mr. Pumpkin's adventure, but I had a way better time with Alien Cruise than I expected. It is not great by any means, but I enjoyed the 2 evenings I spent with Alien Cruise. Have a nice day, everyone!